Welcome in, everyone, to episode 167 of the HurricaneKaz podcast. I'm your host, Peng, joined by HurricaneKaz, PP Steve, whose real name won't be revealed for some time, I bet, and Twastell. Huh?
I'm
today,
real Caleb.
Today he's the real Caleb.
Yeah, the real Caleb. I'm Steve. Anyway, okay, so we are recording this on September 4th, which means that the new Go Battle League season and just season in general, the max out season, has started. So there's a lot to discuss in terms of what the heck is going on and whatever. We'll get into the GBL parts.
That's why we have Steve here. He's the expert on everything going on.
That's true. Steve knows all the details of how all the things work.
About raiding, about trading, about everything we do in this game.
Yeah, everything. I got this game wrapped around my finger. I know it all.
You also have the Australian advantage because you're so far in advance that you've already had this Dynamax thing for like almost 24 hours, whereas we just started. So
yeah.
Also, I mean, Steve has his Pokedex formerly completed. Mine isn't even close, so
that's true. That's
he's more of a grinder than I am.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm basically completed the game.
Yeah,
I did see
Steve for winning Pokemon Go.
Thank you.
You know, Electros, like Community Day. I didn't even have Electros until the Community Day. Like I just didn't have it even registered in my decks.
I mean, most Community Days I'm like that because like a lot of them, like a lot of the starters or I guess primary partner Pokemon or whatever the real terminology is, like I usually save them to like unless I like need it for something. I'm like, well, it's just going to get a Community Day eventually. So like, why am I going to evolve
I
this,
actually
like...
did not have a Primarina until this past Community
I didn't either, actually. Now I think about it,
because it's just like, why am I going to evolve this like Delphox or something without Blast Burn? Like, I don't need it for anything. Might as well wait, sort of a deal. And Primarina was another one. I think I got Vikavolt on that Community Day. I think I got... There's a lot of them. And a lot of times I'll evolve a shiny first, so my dex entry is a shiny. That's always fun to do too. Because you know how it like shows it like getting added to the Pokedex?
Oh yeah.
But if you evolve a shiny... Sometimes.
Don't lie. It's every time.
I definitely
do. Not every time.
I definitely do. My phone is very worried about the storage space it has left after all my dumb screenshots. Yeah, I also take a screenshot of like every tiny and big Pokemon. So like I just love it so much.
Do you share them anywhere?
Well, you have to be very like conscientious then when it comes up, right? You're like, oh shoot, this is a small one, right?
Yeah, I usually like will run from the encounter and then go back to
Have any disappear when you try to go back?
Yeah, that's happened a couple times. It's as long as it's like as long as it's not like a shiny, I'm not super worried about it. It'll happen again. Whatever.
Yeah, the people that back out to like screen record them encountering a shiny, that always like sketches me out. I'm like,
well, I've done that on a Galarian Articuno once, so.
I actually did that on a shadow. I did that on a shadow shiny I got once. It was you
don't like shadows.
Yeah, I know, right? It was a little C dot from Cliff, like way back. I think this was like a couple of years ago. It had already had a Community Day, so I wasn't like worried about getting the shiny. So I was just like, oh, let me get that screenshot, and I ran away. And then I tried to go back in, and the balloon had like vanished. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. Because I don't care about shadows. Be free.
I thought you wanted to rescue it. But,
live your life. Live your best life. Maybe they heal over time in the wild.
Now it's permanently going to be a shadow because you didn't save it.
Oh no! I'm gonna get such a bad grade.
I saw someone who was saying that they it was like 100% legendary they encountered, and they were down to the last ball. And so they wanted to like screen record themselves using their Master Ball, but swiping for the screen recording, they accidentally just threw the last ball on the ground and it ran. So they're like traumatized.
Who was it?
No one you guys know. They're not like a PvP, they're like someone I met from like a past like raid based community.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's get into the events here because I need to know what the heck's going on as well. We have Dynamax and Max battles, and I don't know if anyone really knows how these work, but is anyone well versed in the topic that wants to take this one?
Well, the thing is, like, we haven't actually gotten. I mean, we have the research now to like receive a Dynamax Pokemon, but I don't think the Dynamax battles are going to be active until next week.
No,
Am I
but
wrong?
apparently there might be some level of like Australian testing going on, because I saw Zoe. She actually had a Dynamax Wooloo raid that popped up on her end.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
it wasn't clear whether it triggered because she reached enough max particles or because she, reached certain distance. Like, it was sort of, she wasn't quite sure what triggered it.
The page on the Pokemon Go Live, like the page about Dynamax, where it has like all the info that has been released to the public, that says at the very top, like, take on max battles and Dynamax Pokemon starting September 10th.
Yeah.
So as of this recording, it is the 6th. So maybe the Australians are like the test subjects.
That was the theory that was going around, that we were getting another Australian test scenario, but it also could have just been like a bug from their end. Like, it wasn't meant to be, on yet. And like,
wait,
Zoe just
there's bugs in this game? First I'm hearing of those.
So we do, but everyone as of this moment does have the special research that gives you your first Dynamax Pokemon. Like, it will give that to you as part of the research. I haven't completed it, but I'm on the second page and there's an encounter reward. So I think that's what that is. I'm not sure which one it'll be. And it says on the page, use Dynamax Pokemon to reach new heights, take on max battles, catch even more Dynamax Pokemon. So trainers level 13 and higher will receive the To the Max special research, which leads to encounters with Dynamax Pokemon to catch. So that's probably how everyone's going to get their first Dynamax Pokemon, is not even through the battle feature, the max battle feature, but through the research.
Why isn't that eligible that from level 1 you could do this?
I don't understand all these things, right? Like, why are they gating XL candies to like level 31 and above, or like Dynamax to 13 and above? Like, I don't
just imagine being a new player and being like, all right, so these are the levels you need to know about. Like, there's no info on this, right? Like, at level 5 you could do like raids or something. At a certain level you could do like rockets.
Oh yeah, don't you need to be a certain level to like pick a team or something?
Yeah, I think it's level 5. Yeah,
I mean, those early levels do go by quick, but just like they're very arbitrary.
Right.
I'm just trying to imagine getting this game like today, and like there's just so much.
If you literally saw people talking about Pokemon Go and you're like, oh cool, like let me give that a try, and you just log in, like you're just going to be inundated with so much information.
There's gonna be like 25 special researches popping up.
I remember back when we had kind of our first raid days, like for the Kanto birds, right? I think like Articuno, Zapdos, that sort of thing. And that was when they were first available as shiny as well. Me and my local group were like driving around together in a car to go to as many raids as possible, right? And at one of the spots, we encountered a car full of other people who were doing kind of the same thing, except they were all like new players. And we watched them that day, like in doing just a few raids that we did together in that one spot, like watch them go from like levels like 1, 2, and 3 to like level 20. It was so insane just because of the XP they were getting. It was pretty cute, pretty wholesome.
Yeah. Well, now we can do Dynamax race to level up instead.
We do have some more info. Leak Duck got it, I think, from like the Japanese press or something, because I saw like Leak Duck and like Cerebi were like reporting like all this additional information with like all these like pictures and maybe it was an interview or something.
Yeah,
which like is weird to me because like we now have all this information about how they're gonna work, but didn't even come like through the like in-game news or the Pokemon Go blog or anything. So like if you're disconnected and not following like Leak Duck or Cerebi, like you still have no idea.
But if you're disconnected and not following, it doesn't really
keep
matter.
Listening to this podcast because we're gonna break it down. So what does the Leak Duck article break down, Tristen?
I need to pull it up unless someone else can, because I
have it pulled up. Moment. Well, because the Go Live blog, they added their own page today that says kind of some of the same stuff, but it's much less organized than the Leak Duck page. So Leak Duck starts out with kind of describing the general process. Max battles begin similarly to raid battles, require an entry cost using a new resource called Max Particles, or MP. In the max battles below, you can see it costs 250 MP to challenge Dynamax Bulbasaur, Dynamax Charmander, and Dynamax Squirtle. So the starter Pokemon, your first partners from the Kanto region, those are like the only ones they're kind of talking about right now. So I don't know if it's going to be any different for like the Wooloo or the oh my god, what's the little squirrel?
Right?
Squovit, yeah.
Squovit, something like that.
Yeah, so these are the only ones that are kind of confirmed right now as like using this new resource at a rate of 250 per max battle. Up to 4 trainers can join a max battle, and they can only be joined locally. It was also noted that if trainers are put in lobbies in the order they join, so you'll need to coordinate with when joining if you want to battle with your friends. That's kind of weird. Like there's no password mentioned like they do with raids, so that like only your friends can join the room with you.
I guess not.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, that's going to be annoying because, like, if you hop in and you try to join with your friends, but someone else hops in at the same time, then, like, what, you have to back out and rejoin, but then if they're also backing out, like,
it's local only, so I can't, like, I don't know if it'll ever get to, like, the heights of when raiding was first introduced, and it was, like, 60 people in one spot, you know? And it'll probably still only be a handful. Each trainer brings up to 3 Pokemon, and only Dynamax capable Pokemon can be used. To get started, they will be able to catch a Dynamax Pokemon from the special research, which we were just talking about. We have access to now. So that's really interesting and kind of frustrating since this is like a limited thing. So it's like they're forcing your hand even more to like go out and do these things instead of just like kind of like, oh, I'll get out when I get out or whatever. Like, no, you have to do it right now because you have to have these things to battle. It goes on to point out Pokemon in max battles will build up a gauge through the battle. Once it's full, the Pokemon in the battle can Dynamax. In the following image, and it has like a few images showing like the different screens here, like the joining screen and the battle screen and everything. In the following image, Dynamax Blastoise is battling against a Dynamax Charmander. At the bottom of the screen, the following moves are displayed: Max Guard, Defend, Max Geyser, Attack, and Max Spirit, which is Heal. So apparently you're not even going to be able to use like the regular moves that like you see on the Pokemon page in your storage. It will specifically have moves when it is Dynamaxed. And one of those apparently is like a healing move. So you'll have to kind of watch and restore your own energy or health as you go, as well as attack.
I mean, this seems. I think so. I didn't play the main series games, but like I've seen a few people like doing Dynamax like raid battles like a while back, and like the Dynamax like raid bosses are usually like really strong. So it makes sense that you would have like a protect option and a heal option, because like if you're expecting like a heavy hitting move to come, you might need to like shield yourself to protect from damage or heal yourself up later. So I mean, it seems interesting. Like it seems like there's going to be a lot more strategy than like regular raid battles, right? Because regular raid battles is just like throw in your like
mindless,
right, yeah, you just throw in like your glass cannons and just tap and 20-person lobbies, you just power through it and whatever, versus like this is going to have some strategy. So like from that aspect, I'm kind of excited for it because it seems a lot more interesting and dynamic, and like you actually have to like think it through and coordinate. I have
healing and defense seem pretty basic, but the attack, like the max attack, that is still tied to like the typing, like the elemental typing of your Pokemon. So in the example,
I think it's of the move that you have. Yeah, like I think the Blastoise like has Hydro Cannon, so therefore it gets max.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Whereas like defend and heal, those are just kind of like actions you can do, and they're not tied to any moves your Pokemon currently has.
Right.
It goes on to say max moves can be improved with max particles or candy on the Pokemon's info page before battle. Another source mentions using Candy XL. So apparently that's not solidified yet.
Well,
like,
Zoe has done that bit. So essentially, you can increase the power of your move. She got a Wooloo, so she was able to upgrade its max strike. And to get it from level 1 to max level, it costs 1,400 max particles, 100 regular Wooloo candy, and 40 XL Wooloo candy. So
is it like it's still not like necessarily turn based though, right? Like with these moves, like you're still kind of like firing one of these at any given time during this max battle.
Yeah, I think it's still like regular sort of raid shenanigan. Like you can sort of see in that image on Leak Dark how the max guys are sort of like there's a half filled ring around it. So I think it's still that level of like, you're generating energy with your fast attack and then you get to use your move sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Leak Duck goes on to say, after the Dynamax Pokemon is defeated, trainers will have the option to place a Pokemon at that power spot. Pokemon placed at power spots will help other trainers in their max battles and earn them candy, which that's pretty interesting. Because I mean, yes, you can leave your Pokemon in gyms, and that's associated with like getting you coins and maybe I think occasionally like an XL candy XL. This one specifically mentions like it's going to help other trainers that battle there and give you rewards for doing so. Interesting.
So question for the experts in the room. The
no one.
Huh?
Which is no one.
The people that are more experts than me in the room, which is everyone. What's the so what are these max battles, Dynamax, all that stuff? Is it free, or is it going to cost money?
I think right now it looks like it only costs you this new max particles resource. Yeah. Which I was walking around a little bit earlier today and encountered one power spot where I kind of had to like hold my finger on it and the particles like gathered to where I was pressing and then like came up as a resource added to my bag.
Okay, so I've spun a bunch of them. Basically, you literally just, if you open it up and then you X out of it, you auto collect all of the max particles.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I have a max power spot like right on top of me. Right on my
I do think they changed though. Like they don't. It's not like a permanent thing like Pokestops.
Oh really?
Well, let me check on ruin my phone then,
Kaz.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Nah,
Wait, do we?
I don't know for sure if that's true, but I thought that they might like regenerate either maybe daily or something.
It's not daily because I'm on day 2 of these things and they're still in the same spots.
They've been the same
that's
spots?
Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know.
Okay.
All right.
That is good to know.
Wait, do we know if like the like Go Plus or anything can like pick up the particles for you?
Someone said no.
Yeah, no. Trainers
Scammed.
will see their
Tristan doing everything he can to not play the game.
All right. Trainers will see their rewards and have the option to upgrade rewards with Poke Coins for more items and Premier Balls. Yes, so that there is a screen displaying this. Like after you've won, it'll give you the choice. Like, hey, do you want to spend actual money to like get more stuff? It looks like in the image displayed, the rewards are like I'll just list them. The rewards that are given are like 1 golden raspberry, 1 rare candy, 1 super potion, 100 XP, and 10 Premier Balls, presumably to catch the Pokemon. If you upgrade, you get an extra berry, rare candy, potion, and more Premier Balls. So it doesn't. I don't know. I don't think any of us are like hard up enough on those resources that I would like immediately be tempted to spend coins. But I don't know. Maybe
it's there, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe if they make them better, we'll spend coins in the future.
Yeah.
There's also a strong chance that by the time this episode drops, there's already more info provided. So just take that with a grain of salt. But if we miss any info, that might be.
There is one important tip, I guess, for people who are sort of min-maxing, in that theoretically, well, how it's announced and how it's written in Leak Dark, you're only able to get a maximum of 800 max particles per day. However, there's sort of different combinations of ways to get max particles, and so you can actually go above that 800 limit. So there was a Reddit post that I just saw this morning from my B Ham, and they were sort of like, they showed the different combinations. So if you like sort of collect max particles from 1, 4, or 6 power spots, and then you can also generate max particles by walking 2 kilometers.
Yes.
If you then walk 2 kilometers to get the rest of your particles, you can actually get up to 1,020 or 1,080 max particles per day. If you just sort of spin the spots, then you're doing combinations of 120, and so you can get, you might only be able to get 840 max particles. So if you really want to min-max it, you can.
And you can see this in the game now, because there is a new in the sort of nearby menu, there's a new tab called Power Spot. Yeah, Steve has it pulled up there. In between your raids and your routes.
Oh, dude, you're at 840 already? What the?
Yeah,
I'm a legend, dude. Man.
It's on the grind.
That's my yesterday. I didn't realize I hit a cap.
A week from now, Steve, I wouldn't have been surprised if he was at like 300. Pretty impressed.
Look, so presumably this is where it's going to show you like what's at power spots nearby you as well. So like what kind of Pokemon you can battle at those spots, just like we see in the raid tab.
Yeah.
And they do have some question and answers there, which address some other things. Is it possible to evolve Dynamax Pokemon? Yes. If you evolve a Dynamax Charmander, it does evolve into a Dynamax Charizard. That just means it's capable of Dynamaxing. It's not like it's going to look that way permanently in your storage. Is it possible to heal using items during max battles? No, using max spirit is the only way. Is it possible to collect max particles using devices like the Go Plus? No, it is currently not possible. Can Dynamax Pokemon encounter be shiny? Yes, they can. So very similar to raiding in that regard as well. Is it possible to Dynamax Pokemon previously caught before max battles were introduced? No. So
this is a controversial one.
Yeah, you cannot Dynamax stuff that's already in your storage.
Like
it has to be caught like specifically with the max battle
like people
function.
are upset because, like, for example, like Charizard, right, we said is a Dynamax Pokemon. Like some people already have their level 50 Hundo or level 50 Shundo Charizard built, and they're like, well, this sucks. Now I have to make like a new Charizard just for Dynamax. Like, so there's definitely people that are, frustrated by that aspect.
Yeah. Again, it's like really forcing your hand into this new mechanic instead of like relying on what you already have, which for most of us that have been playing this as long as we have can be admittedly really frustrating. Like, but I already did the thing. I did what you wanted me to do.
I already spent 296 XLs, and $500,000 does make powering this up to level 50.
Exactly. So, have you really won Pokemon Go yet, Steve? Have you?
Hey, well, I mean, I'm very much of the opinion. First of all, I don't have a level 50 Charizard, but also, so in that case, yes, I have won. I've not wasted my resources, but also,
who's the real winner?
I think I'm winning on all fronts at this point. I
think we're gonna check in with Steve in a year and see if he still has a level 50 Charizard or not.
That's true.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much money on it, but also, I'm sort of the opinion of like, who really cares, man? Like, you're literally just using them for Dynamax battles. Like, whatever, dude.
Can you use it for PP?
I'm not
at this stage.
Not at this
stage.
stage.
No. That's one of the other questions.
Wait till the end of the FAQ, man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what's on the FAQ. That's why I'm asking. All right, let's hear it.
Yeah. To continue, how will Dynamax Pokemon be treated in the Pokedex? They have their own Pokedex, so yet another. If you're a completionist,
and Steve, you did not finish your Pokedex, Steve. Well, we all know Steve never actually finished the Pokedex because he never finished the Megadex. So, like, how could you have finished the Pokedex without finishing the Megadex?
Inaccurate. Think of the lies.
It says it has its own Pokedex. That suggests that there are different Pokedexes. It's not just one Pokedex.
Finish all your Pokedexes.
I didn't finish all of my Pokedexes. I did finish my Pokedex singular. So
okay. So
he finished a Pokedex, not his Pokedex. One of his Pokedex.
He's still got to do his shiny Pokedex, his shadow Pokedex, his lucky Pokedex, his
purified
Dynamax, purified, Mega.
Yeah,
there are so many of these things.
I'm about to go comment on your YouTube video and be like, "What a liar!"
Do you have
hey, do it?
Do you have all the costumes from the past like 7 years? Do you?
Yeah,
That's not even
one of them.
No,
everyone go on
Purified
Steve's.
Shadow, perfect 3-star. Why 3-star? Shiny 3-star, shiny lucky event mega G.
Well, the perfect should cover the 3-star, right?
Yeah,
if you finish your perfect
exactly.
Everyone, such a waste. They don't even have like shiny perfect.
Wait,
they just
that
have
actually makes a
shiny
lot of
3-star.
sense though, because there's a lot of like more casual locals mine that don't PvP and stuff, and they'll be like doing a raid or catch something, right? They'll be at like even local tournament. Those always go right, and they'll be catching stuff like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh, is it like a hundo or like good PvP? He's like, no, but it's a 3-star. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's a pretty solid 13, 10, 12 Tauros. Like, it's 3-star.
The worst part is, I think it's potentially not possible to finish your 3-star decks if you get bad luck on your mythicals, because I think it's possible to 2-star mythical, right? Like, isn't a 10, 10, 10 a 2-star?
Possible. Yeah. But, like, eventually you get another one, eventually.
But what if you get screwed over again?
That's true.
So one could be
finishing your perfect decks would be also really hard in that front as well.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was thinking. They had the 3-star decks because it's like easier to finish than the perfect decks, but you could still get scammed.
Yeah.
All right. Can I battle in max battles? Even if I don't have 4 people, you can challenge max battles with 3 or less trainers. Some are even soloable. So
that was a mouthful sentence right there.
It was, yeah. Is it possible to pay to battle in max battles, like with raid passes? Max particles can be purchased with Pokepoints, because of course they can.
That's how Steve has so many particles.
Yeah.
Mr. Moneybanks over
I'm going to
here.
show up to this podcast acting like the biggest grinder, but I just spent $2 for it.
Oh man, that's
will Gigantamax be a feature? Now this, Caleb, since you're the uninitiated here, Gigantamax is like sort of a special form, like within Dynamax. So it's
acted like I'm the only one uninitiated. You all just read this FAQ 5 minutes before me, right?
You kept calling yourself that, so I'm just following your lead.
With the part like visually impaired leading the blind, okay? Like, come on now.
I mean, it's better than the other way around.
I'm not leading nothing here. I'm just listening.
Currently no plans for this feature, but it is under consideration. So yeah, that they'll do it. I mean, of course they will.
Under consideration.
No plans.
Maybe we won't do this one day. Like they're gonna do it. They just like under consider. Just be like, stay tuned for a future update. Like, what do you?
Can you imagine the outrage if they're just like, yeah, no, we're not doing Gigantic.
Yeah, our developers are considering if it's too hard to code or not. So we'll get back to you.
We just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah, and then Dynamax Pokemon do have IVs. I don't know. It doesn't mention like an IV floor though. So like are they going to be with a floor of 10, 10, 10 like raids or it doesn't really say. I would imagine that that's the case. Like that would be my theory going forward until proven otherwise.
Can you trade them?
It doesn't say anywhere in here. It just says they won't appear in the wild, and they can only be used in raid battles and Team Go Rocket battles, as well as other max battles.
Yeah.
So,
interesting point on that. Can you soft lock yourself in the sense of like you get your one Dynamax Pokemon from Special Research, trade it to someone else, and then have no Dynamax Pokemon, and therefore have no ability to get more Dynamax Pokemon?
Well, if you trade to someone else, then they could trade something to you, right?
Yeah.
True. I guess.
You're like,
I would think.
You're locking yourself with handcuffs, even though the key's right next to you. I'm stuck.
You're giving the key to someone else, I guess.
So now someone else can educate me. What about if you trade a Pokemon that you have mega evolved? Like, can that still be mega evolved, like by the person you like trade it to? As long as do they have to have the energy, or does it like?
Well, that's a good question. I think I think if let's say if I give you like a mega, like trade you a Pidgeot that already mega evolved, my guess is if I already mega evolve it, the initial upfront cost is gone, so you don't have to pay that initial, because like the first mega evolution is a lot more expensive than the subsequent ones.
Well, my guess is they would probably reset it, but
yeah, I would actually lean towards like, it resetting.
Well, no, because I heard that if you give it, so the reason why I say that is because I heard that if you trade a mega Pokemon that's already been previously mega evolved, the other person could start walking that Pokemon for mega energy because it's already mega, right?
Wait, really?
Okay.
Yeah, because like let's say like I don't have enough to evolve like a Mega Absol, which was something I had a problem with a couple years ago. If you traded me your previously of Mega Evolved Mega Absol, I can now get energy for it. Whereas I can't get energy for Mega Absol by walking until you do that first initial Mega.
My guess was just because like if you trade something that's previously been like buddied, it like resets all the buddy.
Yeah,
progress.
that does happen. Yeah, the
buddy
does happen. Okay,
so
it's changed. It's previously trading a Pokemon that has been Mega Evolved would retain the Mega Energy discount when Mega Evolving again. This is no longer the case since the update from a Mega Moment. Whatever that
Mega
is.
Moment.
I don't know what update that was. I do not remember.
I think that was Mega Moment. That was like a special research I think we got. I don't know.
Well, from then, that hasn't been the case. When a Pokemon that's been Mega Level is traded, its Mega Level is reset to 0, requiring the initial cost to unlock the cooldown mechanic. So it used to be the case. They fixed it. No longer the case.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. So I would imagine that this is probably treated similarly as of right now. Like that would be my guess. Like, yes, it is a Pokemon that can still Dynamax, like if it's traded, but you still have to have like the resources to do it yourself in your account.
Right. Well, the resources
don't
like,
don't soft lock yourself, everybody.
Well,
it'd be funny if you traded Dynamax Bulbasaur and you trade him, it just becomes a regular Bulbasaur.
Ooh, that would be horrible.
That way you are soft locked. No one can help you.
You really are, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it has like on the Leak Duck thing.
Yeah.
So presumably,
I will just add because I don't know if you finished the last answer, but it says that Dynamax Pokemon can be used in raid battles and Team Go Rocket battles, but they can't Dynamax. So basically, like
they're just regular Pokemon.
Yeah.
You can use your level 50 Charizard.
Right, you can use your level 50 Charizard in raids or rocket battles or probably even PvP. I would hope, even though it doesn't mention it here, but like they're just a regular Pokemon in all the other features, and the only thing that makes them special is that.
So you can't even Dynamax them like for a raid battle?
No, because it's like because the thing is like the mechanic, right, is in a Dynamax battle they like get enough whatever the resource is to Dynamax mid battle, right? So it would make it's not like a Mega where you just Mega evolve it and it's evolved for 8 hours or whatever. It's like based on what Leak Duck said, it was like in the middle of a Dynamax battle, somehow you accumulate enough of, I don't remember what the resource is, to Dynamax it mid-battle, right? So, like, that resource is contained to just Dynamax battles. So you can only Dynamax in the Dynamax battles.
Well, we do have, like, there's also, they released, like, a special, blog entry or whatever, on the Pokemon Go Live site today. It's kind of like not organized super well, but I am going through it now. And this is why I said earlier, like, I don't know if power spots are going to stay at the same place, because under the featured highlights, it says, go out and scout power spots dot the globe. Watch as power spots emerge around you, but be advised, we've learned they may not appear in the same place twice.
Okay.
So, like, that seems to indicate that they're not going to stay where they are forever.
Yeah.
I don't know how long of a period they're going to be there, but they might, like, change over time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd be curious to see, like, how they do that, because it's like, if they're just, like, randomly picking places on the map, like, how are they going to be sure that those are, like, reasonable safe places to have these power spots,
well, for the most part, when I was sort of looking at I've obviously seen a bunch of these things because I'm a legend, but it seemed like they were all from like Google Maps listed spots. So like Domino's Pizza was Dynamax thingy, and so like I think they're taking some level of assumption that like, well, businesses are probably in safe spots, I guess.
Let me look at this power spot that's near me. What is it exactly? Oh yeah, it's a barbershop.
Yeah, a lot of them are like those random like a business, like they're some business out of home, and they've set as their like location their house, and like it's picked up their house as a a Dynamax spot, which is a bit like oh.
So you're saying you could put in Google Maps a fake business at my house so I can get.
Yeah,
just start a barbershop, Tristen. You can start cutting some hair, and then there we go.
I'll just put it in as the Battlecats podcast storefront.
Yeah, if you could you're selling people lies, $5 a piece.
the blog entry, like if you keep scrolling down, like it has it has the link to the featurette about the Go Big event, which again starts September 10th and goes until September 15th. And then it has like other featurettes like about Dynamax Pokemon, about Max Particles, Power Spots, everything. So it gives you like a little bit of information about all those, and kind of it has little previews of what the screen will look like. So like it has screens from like your Pokemon storage that look like the regular Pokemon screen, except the Pokemon looks like a Dynamax. Like it's like a Bulbasaur with that sort of pinkish glow. And they show a Charmander and a Blastoise as well.
I will say, on the official site, the Max Pokemon Battle on Pokemon Go Live, they have 3 pictures of Dynamax, Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. And conveniently, the Venusaur and Charizard are both just under the CP limit for Ultra League. That's a coincidence?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
2497, 2496. Very oddly specific power-up levels. The Blaster's at 1378, but Blaster's probably the least relevant for PvP anyway. So
I mean, I know they've only given it to us once, but they did give us the ability to use Mega Evolved Pokemon like in the Master League that one
twice
time.
Actually.
Twice.
Yeah.
So
the second time's what broke it because people started cheating using like double primal and Mega Gyarados. Yeah.
So I mean, they could be considering ways to play around with that at some point. I wouldn't leave it out of the realm of possibility, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's something we get again, like once and then never again, because we can't have nice things.
Someone's going to find a way to abuse it, right? That's why we haven't had the primals.
There's a mechanic.
That's why we can't have nice things.
That's
why we can't have them.
What is Max Geyser? How do we use Max Guard when we already have Protect Shields? Like that, there's
extra shields.
There's a way to put it into PvP, but I think it's more complicated than just letting us use Dynamax Pokemon in.
Yeah,
I mean, the simple answer is you literally are limited to one attack, and it might be like a boosted version of the one you already have. Like in the case of Blastoise, Hydro Cannon becomes Max Geyser, and so it hits harder, but that's like literally you have no coverage, right? It's just like that's your one thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to me like it's designed to be like it's a self-contained system, so I wouldn't expect to see it in PvP, but I mean, we could be surprised.
I would be happily surprised if they give us the ability to do anything insane and fun in the Go Battle League.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I know a lot of people have also, there's obviously the frustration that like you have to go get these new Pokemon to Dynamax them. You can't use the ones you had before, but there's also a lot of people that have been talking and feel just kind of unenthused about the feature as a whole, because it's sort of like, I mean, we talked about this before, just this endless loop of like, get Dynamax Pokemon to do Dynamax battles, to do more Dynamax battles better. Like, it's a self-contained feature, right? Like,
yeah. Well, we've already talked about this kind of, I feel like, before, but there's just so many things to do now in this game. Like, sometimes it becomes a little tiresome thinking about it, and I definitely forget to do stuff all the time. Like, I will never have a Zygarde probably because I constantly forget that routes are a thing.
Let me give some advice to everyone, not only you guys, everyone listening. you don't have to engage with every part of this game. You're allowed to just leave some bits away. You don't have to care about them. So
or
like,
all
if
of them
if you aren't interested in Dynamax, just don't do it.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't have to. Yeah,
that's fair.
No.
I think a counterpoint to that though is for all the resources and time that Niantic is spending into a new feature, you would hope that people are excited to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like
I don't think you can have people excited to do 11 different things in this game.
Well, I mean, yeah, that might that's a good point.
Yeah,
maybe there shouldn't be 11. Maybe there should just be like 5.
There should just be one PvP.
But I'll give this example. I play like other games, and usually when they drop a new feature for those games, people are excited, right? Itching to play. And I know that some people probably are for the Dynamax thing, but it seems like there's a decent amount of people that aren't, right? It's not even close to unanimous. Maybe not even. I mean, probably majority, but
I mean, like Steve said, you don't have to play all the parts, and I feel like, I mean, whether right or wrong, it feels like Niantic is trying to grow the game out rather than grow it up. And so it seems like they're trying to just add more and more features so that like everyone can find at least a couple features they enjoy, rather than maybe focusing their time on a smaller handful of features and making them, work better and have more depth to them, etc.
Yeah.
And
I guess locals are going to be stoked. Those 3-star legends.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people certainly love to just collect stuff. I mean, that's kind of at the heart of Pokemon as a whole. It's like one of the aspects of the game that never changes is like you got to catch them all, right? So certainly there are some people who are like, oh, good, something actually new to collect, like some new feature to kind of use to collect more stuff. Everyone should definitely enjoy the game the way that is most comfortable for them. I know for me, like I rarely get a chance to really like go out and hard grind things. So the more stuff that I can do kind of from a like more play kind of while I'm doing other things, that's kind of my like the way I play. But certainly there are a lot of people who really enjoy dedicating a specific amount of time like to the grind of doing this stuff. And if that's you, like more power to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think, to be fair also tonight, it's like not everyone's going to enjoy PvP, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like Dynamax. Some people might really like it, some people might not.
Yep.
But just like PvP, not
if
everyone
we never see this in PvP, just like if we never see like mega evolutions in PvP again, like it's fine because PvP kind of like is enjoyable as it is. It doesn't need those things.
So here's the thing that confuses me though. Why would they like tease Dynamax and Gigantamax stuff at Worlds if it's not even PvP related?
Well, again, I mean, most of the stuff they announce at Worlds isn't actually related to the competitive part of the game. Like,
no, it is though, right? Because for Unite, obviously it is, and then for TCG, it definitely is. But they didn't release anything related to Legends, like whatever the sequel Legends Arceus, because it's not related to competitive VGC.
Well,
which is
partially disagree in some sense, but like TCG, they haven't announced like new cards they're going to be good. They've just announced new cards.
Oh so yeah. But it's going to be stuff for the new set that they're definitely going to use, right? There's no way they're not going to use it.
There's still people that are collectors, right? Like some people just collect all the cards and they don't play TCG.
For sure, yeah. What I'm saying is like they didn't tease like other stuff new to Pokemon Go, right? They're not going to tease like the new. Like,
I guess I would just say that it's like just more tangential than like directly related to like only related to PvP. It's like, well, you're already here playing Pokemon Go competitively. Here's some other stuff coming to the game. Also, I mean, these Pokemon can be used, in PvP. They just can't Dynamax in PvP. So I mean,
I feel
like last year did they teased like the DLC, right, for VG?
They didn't.
I think maybe. I know for Go they also it was weird because
for Go last year.
No, for Go there was a Pokemon Presents right before Worlds, and they announced the Gen 9 stuff coming.
Yeah.
And then they just re-showed the same trailer at Worlds, I think.
No, they didn't show anything at Worlds.
Literally nothing.
They didn't show anything at Worlds. Which is why I'm saying like at least based on my memory of the past two Worlds, everything released at the end as a teaser at the end of Worlds right before they announced the location for the following Worlds is always been related to some aspect of the competitive aspect of the games. But that could just be a coincidence. That could be a coincidence.
Well, it's sort of like when they
it's
announced the DLC,
Niantic's
for
first time
example,
to doing it too.
That's true.
I mean,
I feel like
think
it's just like technically everything is in some sense related to VG competitive. Like you can link anything to VG competitive that's released in VG. You can release anything new in TCG. Unite, you can pretend you can link it to competitive. Unite, you can link it all to competitive. So I haven't got that sense that they're strictly competitive updates from Worlds. Again, it's sort of pretty new for us in general. So that's not just a shock to me.
Right.
But
maybe
I'm wrong here.
I see it as like this is like a big new feature and update to the game, and like Niantic thought it would be a good time to like announce or tease it then, and probably wanted to, be included in that closing ceremony, right? Because I know a lot of Go players were pretty bummed in Japan. It was like everyone else is getting all these things. It's like, where's our shiny new toy? Like, can we even have like a crumb? So like
no crumbs.
Here's our crumbs, I guess.
Maybe a particle, but that's about it.
So going back to like the mechanics, I scrolled all the way down to the bottom now, and at the bottom of the Pokemon Go Live like section on Dynamax, they have some additional clarifications about the max battles themselves, which are interesting. We've already covered that you can only use Dynamax Pokemon in these max battles. Each trainer must use a certain amount of max particles to engage in battle, depending on the power spot boss. But don't be discouraged. Max particles are only used up when you successfully take down the boss. Okay. So you won't. So like if you attempt, like if you're out walking by yourself and you attempt one of these and you like, don't win, you will still have those max particles back.
That's good.
To try again or like to go do another one later now that you've had the experience.
So that's why Steve has so many particles.
I can't win one. I keep trying, man.
Get them all refunded back to him every time.
That Dynamax Wooloo is just too strong for me. I can't do it.
The sheep is too big. In a max battle, tap the screen to use fast attacks and build up energy to use charged attacks as usual. Attacking will also fill up the meter at the top of the screen. Once the meter is full, your Pokemon will Dynamax for 3 turns. Like, I am a little confused about how turns are involved in the process since we don't have those like in raids
is it
right
turn-based?
I mean, that's what I'm literally reading what it says, and it doesn't say anything else about how the turns themselves like.
Right, it'll be interesting because this seems like a weird like mix between like turn-based and like regular PvP mechanics with like this new Dynamax stuff thrown in. So it'll be really interesting to see what the actual combat system looks like. I said,
Zoe did her raid after she posted her video, so. There's not the video evidence there yet, unfortunately.
And then it continues. Swipe to dodge attacks from the opposing power spot boss. A prompt will appear over your Pokemon if the boss is targeting you. So be ready to dodge. That also seems to indicate that it might only target one Pokemon like out of a group.
Yeah.
Like, so it might like rotate and target different ones at different times.
Right.
Obviously, if you're soloing it, it's only going to be targeting you, but interesting.
But
it might not.
It'll be interesting. I'd be curious to see because, like, I know in like VG, right? Like, there's some moves that are like single target and some moves that target like everyone. So it'd be interesting. It'd be an interesting dynamic if like the Dynamax like raid bosses had like at least 2 moves and like one was a single target move and one like would target everyone. Like that would be an interesting cool,
I don't know that there's any Dynamax moves that target multiple targets. I could be wrong here, but I can't think of any that are more than a single target.
It also says if you spot energy icons on the battlefield, swipe to collect them and fill up your meter even faster. So like there's, aside from just the battling, you can also like be doing other things like in the battle to help
Plants
yourself.
vs. Zombies sunlight to collect. So it just falls down in the middle of the game. Wow.
If all of your Pokemon faint while battling a 3-star or higher power spot boss, you still have a chance. You can cheer on your teammates so that their meters fill faster. interesting. So like in raids, you can like pick new Pokemon and jump back in. But it sounds like in this, you won't necessarily be able to do that with the higher level ones.
Kind of reminds me of the VG Scarlet Violet raids, where like I think once you're out, you could like cheer your teammates, right? Am I tripping?
Yes. No. Yeah. That's part of it.
And I will say, Kaz, when you're talking about soloing, I'll be interested to see if it's actually soloing or not, because they were saying that like you can leave a Pokemon behind that can help other people. So like it might be, if you're going in solo, that like assuming other people nearby have like left stuff behind, like maybe you would just go in with like 3 of these other like helper Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, and is it gonna be like gyms, or is there a maximum number of Pokemon that can be left at a power spot? It says nothing about that here, so
we'll find out over the next week.
I know.
Yeah,
it's interesting that they were so excited to release more details, but we still have so many questions.
Yeah. It's nice to have at least some details, but I feel like at this point we just have to wait for them to actually come out.
It's like a little treat
for you guys, maybe.
Steve's gonna tell us all how it works.
Flexing your 800 MP over there.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned next week for more details, because we should have more by then.
Or at least one of us will.
Yeah, at least one of us will.
But yeah, I was just gonna wrap up and say like it's a weird, because like I'm intrigued by the feature because the battles sound interesting and engaging. Like the battles sound more enjoyable than like rating, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
it sounds like you'll actually have to think about it a
which
little
is
bit.
what I like. I like the fact that there's actually but again, the fact that it's sort of like a self-contained mechanic, I probably won't do it too much. And I do know there was already people that were clamoring for like, just give it like a year and it'll get a rework like the original Mega system. So we'll see what happens. But definitely people are not the most thrilled on the specifics. But again, I am intrigued by the actual battles because they sound interesting. But
yeah, I'm excited to see how it works. As with any new feature in the game, will it be kind of a continuous part of the way I play? To be determined.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of raid battles, there is a raid day outside of Dynamax coming up, I suppose.
That's right. This one's probably not that useful, but if you like Phalanx, you like Phalanx. It's a Phalanx raid day on this upcoming Sunday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. There'll be more raids, and you get 5 additional free raid passes. So you get free raids. So if you don't want to spend money on it, you can still do 5, maybe 6 free raids, because if you save your pass from the day before.
And shiny Phalanx now available as of this raid day. So
what's weird to me is there's not like an exclusive move, is there?
No, that's it. It's just a shiny chance if you're interested in getting
like I feel like a lot of past raid days had like an exclusive move, so like it seems a little underwhelming to not have any.
Have they? Outside of Lucario, what other ones got a move?
Well, the Marowak
did back in the day.
Yeah.
Shadow.
Oh, that's like back in the day. Yeah. I was like pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
When we had like Gengar and stuff, I guess Gengar had like a costume.
Gengar raid day.
That's a Shadow Punch. Oh, yeah, it had Lick. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did have
Lick and Psychic. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What about Galarian? What's that Rufflet evolution called?
Oh, Braviary. Well, that was just
Braviary. Hisuian?
Pokemon, right? Like
Galarian? I don't know which one.
Hisuian, yeah. I guess that didn't have a move. Yeah.
But I think it might have been released for that though. The first time.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's been a little hit or miss.
That was a debut.
Yeah.
Same with Hisuian, Typhlosion, and Co.
Right.
Yeah, but those are also debuts, right?
Yeah, and I guess I feel like a lot of the other raid days have been like either legendaries or megas or like those debuts of like special regional forms, so they've sort of been special in that sense. But like Phalanx like has been in the game for a while, so like I guess I was just sort of expecting there would be like a move or something to just like spice it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you get the shiny now, Tristen.
It does
shiny
seem a little weird. Yeah, it does seem a little weird that they have a special raid day for this Pokemon, and it's just kind of like
feel like not many people are very excited about it from what I've seen.
No.
Like,
I think that
it's
is
also-
probably untrue. I think that most people play
Steve
Pokemon
needs to
Go
finish
for
his
shinies.
3-star decks for failings. Okay, he's looking for 3-star failings for his
Come on,
decks.
guys, show some respect. But yeah, I don't think that you are part of the group that is the majority of Pokemon Go. I think that most people are going to be keen to get a shiny Phalanx.
Well, we're definitely in the minority, right? Who else is going to spend hours every week talking about Pokemon on a podcast?
I also think the timing is interesting. Like they're timing it right before this, new mechanic of max battles that they're trying to get people to invest in. So it just kind of seems a little weird on that front too. They're like, also here's a raid day for like a random Pokemon that can be shiny now. It just seems like a little extra thing that we didn't necessarily need in the middle of all this. But I mean, I'm happy to have shiny Phalanx. I think it's a delightfully weird Pokemon. So,
I mean, can I offer some advice?
Yes. Happy to have advice from the number one Pokemon Go player in the world.
If you're uninterested, that's me. If you're uninterested in Phalanx Raid Day, you don't have to play Phalanx Raid Day.
Steve, I'm sensing a common pattern in all of your advice. Like, hey, you don't have to.
I feel like I've read that on the X a couple times in the past few years too, posted by various people. They must be quoting the great philosopher Steve.
Yeah.
the top Pokemon Go grinder in the world.
The key to grinding is to not play.
Take it from the man at the mountaintop. Just grind the bits you want to grind.
Just grind some sleep instead.
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds so good. I'm so tired.
Yeah, get onto Pokemon Sleep. New game.
I was gonna fail that game. So we have another thing coming up too. Actually, it's already live now, but it's a daily Pokecoin bounty part 1. But starting September 1st, you essentially get, for equivalent of essentially $5 USD, you get a daily field task that awards 20 bonus Pokecoins. And then, 3 times catch XP for your first catch and spin, and then collect up to 50 gifts a day. You could open up 50 gifts a day. You could collect up to 150, and you can hold 40 at a time.
That is interesting because one of my biggest complaints about the friends list is I always feel like, first of all, I never have enough gifts to send out, and then I never have the ability to like open as many gifts as I feel like I need to.
Yeah.
I just don't love that they keep like locking these like extra gift bonuses behind like paid tickets. Mm-hmm. It's not like, everyone can just open more gifts now or send more gifts or whatever. It's like you got to pay money to be able to open more gifts.
Yeah, is like, couldn't that be kind of maybe a seasonal bonus that we get? Every other season we get XL, like an extra XL from trading. So like maybe every other season we should be able to open more gifts or whatever. That would be really nice.
Wait, so let's calculate this real quick. So there's 30 days in September, right? You get 20 coins per day. And you get additional 200 for the thing. So you get 800 coins off this.
Assuming you do all of your research tasks.
You have to do the things every day.
No, I have it. It's just you just transfer 10 Pokemon. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. You still have to actively do it. It's easy.
Yeah, you just have to open the game, right? Yeah. Like I think it's a good way for them
opening the game is a tall task for some people.
For some people,
that's true. Up,
you should not buy. Yeah, this time it wasn't me, Paulie. I'm just saying. So for $5 in the in-app store, you could get 550 coins for it. So technically speaking, for the value of the $5, it's probably worth it. Is it worth a lot? No, but it technically is a slight bargain.
Yeah, and it does have a couple extra bonuses thrown in there too.
Yeah,
so.
The gift stuff, if you're big on gifting and stuff like that. And then there's the quest for it. Wait, let me just see what the rewards are for that. You just get XP and Stardust actually. You get.
Is it like a lot of Stardust though?
You get 10,000 Stardust and 10,000 XP, and you get additional 5,000 of both when you finish the whole thing.
Okay. I was gonna say the one thing is apparently it initially said like 25 coins a day and it got like lowered to 20 coins a day. So
what? Come on.
That's extra 5 coins a day really gonna break the bank.
Yeah.
I mean
150 extra coins for people. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any data on that, so Spossel just made that up.
Technically, it is a bargain.
If that's the case, yeah.
But it's still the biggest bargain if you are a person who, like we said, opens the game every day and like does all of this stuff every day. So like, if that's not you,
if you pay for coins.
Right.
If you don't pay for coins ever, then don't bother, man. But like, if you're gonna,
if you don't pay for coins,
anyway,
you just beg someone else to buy you a ticket.
I don't know about begging people, but if they're kind enough to offer, then shout out to.
I just think it's funny because like Nighttime Clasher is like free to play, but I'm sure he's like hitting someone else up to see if they'll give him the ticket for some extra coins.
Dude, that man as a free to play player is like such a misnomer because he spends thousands of dollars flying around the world and going to hotels to compete. He is free to play the Game Gap game for sure. He's not free to play in terms of as a competitive player, but yeah. Anyway, so if you're like, it's not a bad deal, I would say.
It's not bad, but like I'd also be curious the math because like buying coins in $5 increments isn't really the most optimal way to buy coins anyways. So like I'd be curious how it compares to do like the $100 bundle.
Well, yeah, I could do that for you. Let's see. Obviously, it's cheaper if you buy off a Niantic's web app store. So it's 14,500, 10,000 or 14,500 for the $100 bundle. So it comes out to $145 per dollar, and then what did I say, 800. So yeah, it's not as efficient, right? So it'd be $160 per dollar for this research thing that you're purchasing.
An extra 15 coins per dollar in USD. Is that the math? An extra 15 coins per dollar?
Yeah, so actually it is better. Yeah, it is better than buying it from the you're right. Yeah. I thought about the other way around. So technically this is very, very efficient for getting coins. So if you do purchase coins, it's actually not that bad at all. And you get Stardust and XP. So I don't think Niantic did a good enough job of selling this though, because like this is actually honestly the best deal now that I think about it. If you're just purchasing straight coins, and on top of it you get other stuff,
but the
like they didn't really sell this well enough because we had to do the calculations by hand.
Well, and the problem now though is like if I like was listening to this podcast and was like, oh, that's a great deal. Well, now you're what 4, 5, 6 days into the month, like you've already missed out on all those days.
It only started on the 3rd. So it's like from the 3rd to the 2nd. So you're not as behind. Yeah, it goes September 3rd to October 2nd. So it's still a month.
So what this means is the sooner you listen to episode of the BattleCast podcast, the more beneficial it is for you.
It's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Right. All right, what else do we have?
We have Kaz's Corner. That's what we have.
We do.
And I'm about to double my points this week. I'm just saying, You've been
saying that for weeks.
This is the week. Look, I haven't seen UNC pick up any points in these past 2 weeks. So
it's true. Y'all were a little overconfident last time, and nobody knew about Cresselia's feathers.
You couldn't see no feathers on Cresselia, to be fair, right? That was a tough one.
Okay. So we're moving as the game moves into the Galar region. So does Kaz's Corner. So today, the trivia question is going to feature Sobble, which is famous for its crying. Yes, we all know that. But
I didn't know that.
Sobble's tears do have a superpower all on their own.
Oh my gosh.
What is it?
Can I Google a picture?
Google a picture. Sure.
Man, I should know this.
Sobble Pokemon.
Yeah, literally, like, whenever I've looked at pictures or GIFs of Sobble, like, they all feature the crying. So, like...
Okay.
Interestingly, the picture that's come up is not crying. But...
Aw.
No.
Prove me wrong. All right. So, as per usual, type out your answers, and I will count you down to send once everyone's answered.
Wait. Okay, so Sobble's tears...
Yes, they have their own... superpower. What is it?
Shoot. I have like something in mind. but I'm gonna go with the other thing, and I'm gonna regret it. I already know I'm gonna regret it.
Okay, I've got a guess. I guess I don't love it. I can't think of a better one though.
Okay, I'm ready.
Tristan, how you doing over there, Tristen?
All right.
All right. Is everyone ready? Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1, send. All right. Caleb says reduces the attack of the opposing Pokemon. Interesting choice. Tristan says the tears...
I didn't get it right then. No one says that if it's right.
The tears have healing powers. That's Tristan's answer. And Steve says something similar. They help to calm you down.
Okay, I would say one thing, right? Before you say the answer, okay, we all got it wrong, I guess. But is it reducing the defense of the opposing Pokemon? Because that's what I was going to type. Okay.
No.
That makes you feel better then.
They actually make their opponents cry as well. Because they have the chemical power of 100 onions.
What?
That is what the Pokedex says. Now I wasn't expecting.
But wouldn't that reduce the attack of the Pokemon because they can't hit anything if they're crying? You'd be like, okay. Think about it this way. All right, let's think about this in boxing terms, right? If Muhammad Ali's fighting, right, he's going to hit pretty hard. If he's crying his eyes out because there's onions in his eyes, he's not going to be hitting you as hard. There's no way, right? There's no way.
Listen, you can try and sell it all you want, but no, not close. Sorry.
But what's the outcome of them crying from the onions, right? That's the outcome, right? It reduces their attack.
I didn't ask you what the outcome was. I asked you what it did.
Yeah, it makes them hit less. That's what it did to them, amongst making them cry about a lot of things.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, learning all sorts of things down in the corner. Yeah, I thought that was a particularly odd thing, for Sobble to cry onion tears.
I was thinking it was a move. So because I've played Sobble and then evolves into Inteleon eventually in Pokemon Unite, and there's one of the early stage moves. It's only taught to Sobble and maybe the second stage as well. What's second stage again? It was I always forget this one.
Drizzile.
Yeah, Drizzile. Yeah. But and there's a move called Teary Look or something. And it does something. I think it reduces the defense or attack of the Pokemon that you're facing. But it's in Unite, so they obviously changed it to match what they're going for, right? Because if they make the opposing Pokemon cry there's onions, it doesn't. What's that going to do for a Unite game? Nothing, right? So.
Right, but these are the Pokedex entries, right? They're not always related to battle specifically.
Yeah. I take literally every single question from the Pokedex. So it's information that is out there for you.
Yeah. For the record, Tearful Look is a move that's known by other Pokemon as well.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't be Sobble specific. But I just googled an image of Tearful Look and it looks whack. Just two eyeballs appear on the screen that are
yeah, exactly. And then tears just squirt out. It's so creepy.
It looks odd. Oh,
wow. There are a lot of moves like that. Yeah.
What the heck?
So weird. And there are a lot of moves like that. There's also something, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like Cute Look or something like that. I don't know, but there's something that gives you they look like anime eyes, it's with hearts or stars coming out of them or whatever. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
So strange. So Sobble in the Pokedex is defined as a lizard, it's the watery lizard. But I think it's more likely based on newts, which are amphibians. There are three different
amphibians
species.
Aren't lizards?
No.
This is the reptiles, right?
Yeah, reptiles are what lizards are, but amphibians are and reptiles
Are amphibians reptiles?
I don't think so. No, they're separate because they live in both water and land, but reptiles typically have to breathe air at all times, whereas
so a crocodile
amphibians amphibians are kind of both. You see frogs go under the water and not.
Wait, so crocodiles can't and alligators can't breathe underwater, right?
No, that's why they have to have their nose above.
It's kind of wild. They spend a lot of time in the freaking water, even though they can't breathe there. That's like us. Like, imagine if we just like laid around in a pool all day instead of like being on land.
I would love to live like that.
Yeah, but this is like what all the crocodiles and alligators do,
but
right?
like, I mean, whales are the same, right? Like,
yeah, whales.
Yeah, but whales don't have like arms and stuff they could crawl on land for, you know.
Yeah, but whales are mammals. They have to come up for air, even though they like
they're always they always swim in the water, but they still have to come.
Wait, so how do whales sleep then? Because aren't they sleeping in the water? They just don't breathe for like 8 hours?
I think it's like a temporary thing. It's not like they sleep for 8 hours like we do. They like sleep in smaller increments.
Oh, dude,
there's also I don't know
miserable.
I don't know if they're similar to dolphins, but I think I read a thing about dolphins where like they sort of go half brain, and half of their brain just focuses on oxygen, and it sort of like goes back up to get oxygen and then goes back down.
That's actually something. Dude,
if I was a shark, I'm just waiting for these dolphins to fall asleep. Then I'm like, yo, this guy's just. I know he's going up for air. I just got to float around.
That's also similar to something that like some migrating birds can do. Like they can kind of like put half their brain to sleep while they're flying, so that they get some semblance of rest, like while they're flying thousands of miles overnight. It's crazy.
Wait, they're sleeping while they're flying?
Yeah, part of their brain is basically. Yeah.
Yeah, left brain, right brain.
Are their eyes closed? Like, what's happening here? Like, what's?
I don't think their eyes are necessarily closed. It's just kind of their brain goes into a very limited, like a very limited state.
I mean, that's how I feel when I'm driving in LA traffic. So
that's not
but
good.
There are like 3 different species of newts found in the UK. So it's like a fairly common little creature that can even be found like in people's garden ponds. And they live, like I said, they're amphibians, so they do live partially in water. Like the little baby newts are born in water. And they like emerge onto land later, kind of like how frogs lay eggs and the tadpoles live in water and then come out later. So likely, since Sobble is a water lizard, I'm gonna think that it's kind of more of a newt. But I'll have to wait until I get the evolutions to learn more from my Pokedex.
Do you learn from the in-game Pokedex? Is that actually where you go for Kaz's Corner?
Exactly.
Interesting.
So see, now you just all go home and read the Pokedex, and you'll be set.
Read all 1,000 Pokemon in there.
Only one of us can do that for most of them, but
and you never know in advance which Pokemon I'm going to talk about. So
for the competitive spirit, I will not go through and read the entire Pokedex. But
for my points, I will.
I'm just double those points.
Yeah, one day he really will.
If I did the research on this stuff, I would have more than 1 point. That's all I'm saying. All right, Go Battle League. It's a max out season. Everything has been officially dropped. I only played 1 day of sets. I haven't played today's sets yet, but we are right after that. Yeah. What are people's thoughts on it? Oh my gosh. There's Galar Cup Little Edition for 2 full weeks?
No. 1 week. And then it's Galar Great League.
No, the Little Cup, I think, is 2 weeks. And then it's the Great League.
The Great League isn't until October.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm about to hit Legend in a week. Like, this is crazy. No, I kid you not. It's so... I played it for like 2 sets. I lost like 1 battle. And even then, I got like they like made crazy plays to win it. But the Little Cup is so stupid if you have Bronzor and Shuckle. Like, it's just like, there's nothing you can do. I've been running Bronzor, Shuckle, and Barboach. It's so easy.
Yeah. Wow. Debbie Pebble actually just spent like 200 rare XL candy to build her Shuckle, and is like absolutely crushed.
200 rare? Is Debbie Pebble a big raider?
No, I'm
pretty sure that's all she's had.
So that's like all she's had for like years. Yeah. Was it 100% at least Shuckle?
I think it's a 98%.
Oh my god!
I saw her.
It's good enough, but that still feels kind of bad. Is it shiny at least? Like,
no, I think. Well, she said XL Shuckle is filthy. OMG, I love it.
It is disgusting. It makes Bastion look like a glass cannon. Like it's like I was in a Shuckle mirror and I should have remembered, but I just forgot. The last time I played it was like Little Catch Cup, which was like over a season ago, and I was in a Shuckle mirror and I decided to shield a Stone Edge because it's super effective, right? And then my opponent's no shield. And then I see it does like literally like 2% of the health. I was like, shoot, why did I better shield on this? Right? That was just like a stupid idea. But it is so stupid tanky. It's crazy. like super effective attacks don't even look super effective. They look like resisted sky attack on Bastion.
It's actually crazy. I remember it from Little Cups in previous seasons, and it's actually just
nuts.
insane.
It's nuts. It's so stupid.
I have not played the Little Cup yet because since it's there for 2 weeks, I figured maybe I'd do that next week when I didn't really feel like playing Ultra League.
Yeah.
I've only done 2 like 10 battles. Like I've only done 2 sets so far. And I went with like a pretty, I think, standard, like not necessarily updated team. It's Clodsire for Alligator and Mandibuzz. So Clodsire is the only one that technically got a little buff, but for Alligator,
but the other
still
two are
broken.
still very strong.
Yeah,
both
they're
of them are
so broken. Strong. Yeah, it's been really nice.
You're like everyone else. Everyone Great Lake I face has a Clodsire somewhere. Every time I see them, like, Clodsire in the back. There's no way.
Yeah, no. It's just too good. I mean, you still have to fear them for alligators running around in the mud Pokemon, but I mean, it's really good just neutrally. And Poison Sting does, like, the damage increase is noticeable. Like I got really close to like being able to kind of like farm down a Lantern a little bit, and that was nice.
Yeah. The fact that you saw Lantern is even more wild.
I know, right? That was one of the only ones I lost because the whole team is like pretty weak to Lantern when you think about it.
Yeah. Wait. So how much is the Surf energy cost?
It's 45.
Now? What was it before?
40.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So PV Poke's predictions were like all correct except for 2. It was like Nightshade was slightly better than predicted, and Power Gem was slightly better than predicted. I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything else is
accurate. So Surf is still like, it's definitely a lot more expensive. Like, if you're using Spark, it's 7676 to get the Surf, but it does more damage. Is it more energy efficient though?
I think so.
Well,
someone said yes.
So
yeah.
I had in my experience that I had, like 2 Surfs got Clodsire into the red.
Wait, was it water gun or Spark?
It was no. It was a Spark Lantern. Okay. So I could withstand the charged attack or the fast attacks pretty well to like not have to worry about those 2 Surfs, but I would have had to shield a 3rd one.
Yeah, and you can see it coming because you're like, well, I know this is not going to take me out, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Interesting. I don't think we'll see a ton of Lantern, but it's not completely unusable either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that since the 3 Pokemon, like I said, the 3 Pokemon I'm using like are still so solid and tanky, like Lantern Core breaks it really easily, like since it still gets to Surf fairly quickly, you know, as long as you don't...
I think Mandibuzz and Alligator both beat Lantern now, if it's running Water Gun.
If it's running Water Gun. Yeah, this one in particular that I saw was running Spark, so it was pretty bad. But but if they're running Water Gun, like still very doable.
I feel like that's a good change though, because it's like it makes Lantern a little less good in neutral. It slows it down, but it's not totally killing it, right? Like that's the sort of I think are good.
Yes,
because Niantic never wants to really get rid of Lantern. They say they do, but they don't really mean it.
Don't know how to nerf this thing. Well, now what they really try to get rid of is Vigoroth. But I've been seeing a lot of Machamp, and they're running Stone Edge instead of Rockslide, which I think is the play. But Machamp gets to like, so it used to get to like cross chop at like what 5s, right? It gets to cross chop now with every 4 karate chops. Well, obviously before it was counter, right? But it's so fast. And then it gets to Stone Edge at 7666, which is not bad. Honestly, this is the pacing of Aquatail, Stone Edge, Quagsire back in the day, last season. Yeah, not this current season.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Back yesterday.
A day and a half ago.
One other really funny thing that happened was
5 hours ago.
I did see one Pangoro, and like I had Mandibuzz on it, so they threw close combat because they knew they were probably going to be going down anyway. And not like close combat did about, I want to say maybe 1/3 of like Mandibuzz's health. So like not a huge concern. But after they threw it and I threw the aerial ace, it like knocked out that Pangoro. Like it was like gone.
Yeah, I mean it's not very bulky to begin with. So
oh my god. I mean I knew it wasn't, but like I just thought that was so funny.
I hope
was like,
it's
oh
not
my
good.
God.
Because it's so inaccessible. Like I can't even make one for Great League.
Wait, what?
I don't
There
have
was
one.
like
The hatch ones are too high.
No, but
and
there was like there was a few events where it
I
spawned wild.
Well, not a few. There's one, I believe.
Well,
it's
you're
Global
talking
Go
to
Fest.
Caleb, not the number one Pokemon Go player.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
I have a 1500 Pangoro.
Yeah, exactly. See, well, that's a true grinder right there, not me. But no, they did spawn during the Global Go Fest like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know. One of the last,
I think
2022.
Yeah,
but I don't
also
think I
at
caught
a
any
New
good rank ones. So I
York
think I just
Go
transferred
Fest.
all of them.
I think
Because I definitely did. Because I don't have any in my storage, right? But for anyone getting into the game now, like they can't get one.
Yeah, well, you should have done that that world's timed research from the stream.
Okay, I don't know about you all. I tried doing the Twitch drops. I couldn't claim the freaking reward. Like I watched it.
Well, no, I mean
the only one I couldn't get to go was the one on Sunday for the Pikachu.
No, I couldn't. I literally watched it. It literally says in my Twitch profile that I've completed it. And I never got the research. Like I didn't know how to claim it. It was not very intuitive
you had to
at all.
You had to go onto another website to
actually
like claim it.
Is it too late now?
Then, I
would assume.
Probably.
It literally says I have it completed in my Twitch profile, which is like.
But that website during day one was very broken and like not giving me my rewards, even though again it said I had claimed it. It was just like nope.
I will show you what I see. I literally see this right now. I'll paste it in our group chat. But it literally says I completed the team building one 17 days ago. This is one with the lead TM.
But that Twitch thing, that's not where you claimed your actual reward.
Where do I claim from that? Is there from that page or no?
No, there's another page. I don't remember.
It's like a separate Pokemon site.
I will say, like,
hold on, I think I have it saved.
The Twitch rewards in the last year have been way more complicated and challenging to claim, and I don't understand why they changed it. Because the ones from a year ago were way easier to do.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's just. It's just annoying because it's just
it's it's the offer redemption page, so it's store.pokemongolive.com/offer-redemption.
Well, if I get there, another page. What code do I put in though?
No, there's a page in between that's on Pokemon.com or something, and you have to go there and claim it, and then that gives you the code to take to the Pokemon Go redeem. It's too complicated and convoluted. I'm
like a caster and I don't even know how to do this thing.
Yeah.
I did see, I think there was a short little post that outlined the steps, I think. And I think Galax also made a graphic outlining how to do it.
I'm pretty sure the stream for Pokemon Go on day number 2 literally got crashed or got banned on Twitch because a bunch of people were so upset with the drops that they reported the Twitch account.
Really?
That's apparently what happened.
Oh my
which
God.
is also not a good thing for viewers to do, right? Because you just ruin the experience for a lot of people. Obviously, the broadcast still go on for YouTube, but all of Twitch broadcast wasn't able to be watched.
15 minutes, I had no idea what happened, and then I was like, oh, I guess I can watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really frustrating for a lot of people. And no amount the other problem is I know that they do this to make sure that people are tuning in and they're not just claiming the rewards and tuning out. You want to get people invested, but the problem is making it this convoluted just turns people right off, you know, and they're like, well, now I'm just not going to do it anyway. Cause and even when it did work, when I got it to work, the page wasn't even working to claim the reward on the first day. And they gave the wrong research. So it said that I had gotten the Sableye encounter, but then it gave me the day 2 research. It was
I don't know why they changed it, because I feel the system they had, I think it was at last year's Worlds, was way better. It was you just watch for half an hour and then it just gives you the code. It's super easy, but now it's this whole complicated process of because not only that, but you have to link your Twitch account to your Pokemon account, not your Pokemon Go account, but your Pokemon on Pokemon.com. You have to link those, and then you have to watch, and then you have to I think claim click claim in Twitch maybe, and then go to a page on Pokemon.com to claim it or something, and then put the code in Pokemon Go. Like, it's so complicated with so many steps.
What's the minimum age for Pokemon Go accounts?
13. Well, 13 for a non-kids account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about to view stuff on Twitch?
Probably 13, I think.
13. Okay. You know what Niantic should do, or whoever's managing the Twitch drops, they should get a focus group of a bunch of 13-year-olds, and if they can't figure out how to do this, like, it's too complicated. It's just too complicated, right? Like, I don't think but I don't think that's unreasonable, right? Because like you have a bunch of kids watching this, they want Twitch drops, right?
Yeah.
Also, like, we're grown adults, and this is hard to figure out, you know, like.
And that's what I was gonna say is like. Also, if kids, right, who are even in theory even more familiar with all this technology, like if they also like can't figure it out, like that is a huge signal that this is way too complicated.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just frustrating.
I know how to Google.
Yeah, I'm not trying to badmouth the people that organize it, but I think like at the end of the day, I think part of it, I don't know why they went with this approach this year over the other whatever, but I think like part of it might also be that like you're so inundated with your own processes that like you fail to realize how complicated it is for the average people. You know, like obviously if you're working on it, you know the ins and outs, like yeah, I know how to do this. You link this account and it's easy to go, right? These are the next 2 steps, right? It makes sense to me. But I think like it's just like a lot of people that are, they're experts in their field, they just like fail to forget how hard it is to like translate it in layman's term for the rest of the population.
There's just too many steps and stuff, and like I saw some people that were like watching the stream and wanted the drops, but then they're like, oh, I really have to like go make like a like Pokemon account now and like do all this linking and stuff, when like all they wanted was to like watch the stream for half an hour and like get the research real quick, and it was like all these extra steps. Like it's just too complicated, and like there's so many spots that it can like go wrong. Like I can't remember one of the earlier ones this year. It was like LEIC or EUIC or something. I could not get that one to work. Like it's just it's been a frustrating process all year long.
And the thing is, like, nothing that they do is going to stop people from just like invading the chat and just like typing in
code
over and over and over. Nothing that you do is going to stop. Because
that's already been the trend that you set like 2 years ago in London, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly. Like it's just never going to end, and no matter how convoluted you make it, like that's not going to stop people.
But anyway, so Pangoro and great GBL. I hope it's not too good because I don't have what is more of the story. Hopefully they'll bring it in events. But like it's just like hopefully like the thing is, even if they have a Pangoro event in the near future, what happens after that week? Anyone else coming back in the game or that missed that event still doesn't have one, right? Like it just needs to be like part of maybe a regular wild spawn potentially, right? Like I see random wild Meowth all the time. I wouldn't mind seeing a random Pancham once in a while. Like, it's just make it more accessible because it's just so hard to get.
I agree.
They already have Pokemon that like appear, like you mentioned Meowth. Like Meowth is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's obviously more common, but they have things that appear more rarely too, like we have Dreepy that's available in the wild right now, but it's like a very rare spawn. So you could have the same thing with a Pancham.
Yeah, exactly.
I got my first Dreepy today. I was very excited.
I didn't know this one in the wild, but
I don't have one yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
What level do GBL encounters spawn at? Is it 15 or 20?
15.
So they just have to add
wait, no. They're 20.
Because legendaries are at 20.
GBL encounters are 20.
Oh, they're 20?
Yeah, because otherwise all the GBL legendary
15,
encounters would be 15 too.
That's what I thought. Because otherwise, you could
they could do that. They could do 15 for GBL encounters. That would help a lot for Pancham if you throw it in there. But
I will
maybe
say
just Codas or legendaries aren't 15 if they don't want to do that.
It's like a pain. You can technically get it from trading for a level 20, but you just have to like get lucky with the IVs, sort of like a Cresselia or something. Like it's possible. It's just a pain.
How lucky do you have to be?
Literally impossible for best friend. It has to be below 555. Like just barely below 555, but below 555 would be incredible.
Yeah. I mean, but like, yeah. Well, save your Pancham for low friendship trades, I guess.
Yeah, I have exactly one extra Pancham, And then I have exactly 2 Pangoro, like for either league or whatever. Like I have one that's for great and one that's for ultra, and I have like a lucky one that's. Okay.
I'm just gonna run Machamp, you know. I'm just gonna run that Machamp.
I mean, run Malamar as my fighter.
Yeah, TLDR.
Tail's just gonna run.
Dude, Malamar was fun. I was using.
I am definitely running Shuckle for 2 weeks.
I am excited to try Malamar. Like I've made.
I was running. Yes, I was running. I was running Malamar, Shadow Drapion, and Clodsire, and that was.
How'd it go?
I mean, I didn't do any sets yesterday because I was busy. So I did like 2 sets last night, like after midnight, and like it went well. But I was also at rank like 1, so it's hard to.
Hey. I went 3 and 2 in rank 1. Okay, like rank 1's no joke. Like I was
right, but I did rank 1 like 12 hours after the season started. So like all you sweaty tryhards had already gotten out of rank 1 at that point.
Oh, I didn't really recognize it.
I just took a drink of water. You almost made me spit it out. All you tryhards.
Wait, let's compare Elos from last season. Where we at?
Oh, okay.
What are the teams for next season?
Caleb, I tried your team. Caleb, I tried your team, and it made me crash really hard. But I just managed to get back up to like actual veteran range. So 25-16 is where it ended.
25-16. Okay. Yeah. What about you, Steve?
I finished my season at it may say veteran, but the number says 21-73.
Okay. What about you, Tristen?
26-78.
What? Oh, okay. I thought you were just going to be higher. Weren't you like above that like 2 months ago?
Yeah, I didn't play much.
Oh, okay.
The end. Like I tanked during that like fantasy cup, and then I barely touched GBL the rest of the season.
You're in Hawaii,
legend,
I
or
guess.
No, I hit expert, but not legend.
Gotcha. Wait, so
I only did like 650 battles.
So Steve's the lowest, then Kaz, then Tristen. Okay, well I'm at 31-43, so we have same teams this season.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Lucy team has to get a face tattoo, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we agreed upon.
All right, what did people come across for?
I come up with first to legend gets a face tattoo.
That's not good.
I asked my friend that was visiting after DragonCon for suggestions, and she said that since we do have a video element, that we should be forced to do our best like Pokemon imitations. Like on screen.
I think that would be okay. I'd be okay with that, but it can't just be one. One is not satisfying.
I also like as a person who sometimes draws. Like I also thought, like what if we had like a? Have you guys ever heard of like the like automatic writing? Like how you just kind of like write whatever and you don't really pay attention to it.
No idea what that is.
Like as in like sort of the journaling sort of like
yeah. Well,
okay. I know.
There's something similar that we
like
do.
Stream of consciousness writing or something.
Yeah, there's something similar that is like an artistic exercise where you kind of like draw without looking at what you're drawing. We could do that. We could do like draw like we pick the winners pick a Pokemon and then we have to like draw it like without looking, like from our memory without looking at it and see how terrible it turns out.
Okay, here's my suggestion for more embarrassment.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, Caleb, of course you do.
Gotta raise
Pokemon cosplay.
I'd be down for that.
We gotta do like our best Pokemon
a specific Pokemon.
Yeah. So
okay.
Probably
that could be fun.
Person's
choice. Are we doing it on the podcast?
On the podcast.
I already have
an podcast we're at like an event. You know, like
I already have like an Espeon and Fearow costume ready.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
Okay, how about this? It's you have to cosplay the Pokemon, 2 Pokemon of the winner's choosing.
Mm-hmm. We can we can figure it out.
Just for the recording.
For the recording, yeah. You have to be creative and go all out, right? Like if I want Tristan to look like Onyx, he better have some segments on him. You know.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty good. I think that's solid.
Okay,
that's all right.
It's in the similar vein to Coriander the Clown.
yeah. Except that was like a very multi-week thing because he was slacking.
All right, let's do end of season ELO this time though.
Why you want to drag it out that long? That's so long.
More time.
More time.
Mid-season's good because by then we're already thinking about next season, right? Mm-hmm. Let's set like okay, how about this? How about this? We do end of the season, or we end it the moment someone hits 3,000 ELO legend. So obviously, if no one hits legend by the end, then it's just...
I think having like a date is better. Like instead of like relying on
can't be
when
surprised.
Yeah,
look, I'm telling you, the surprise feeling don't feel good because when I woke up to a text message from Anacor out of nowhere, I was surprised he hit legend. I was like, "What the heck?" My heart sank. I was like, "Wait, what is happening right now?"
Well, yeah, and it also because I mean sometimes some of us like might not necessarily be available to record, like if we're traveling or something, you know. So I mean, setting a date like make sure that everyone is going to be available.
October 1st.
I don't know.
How about
minimum
December 1st?
I think how about
December 1st?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think whatever, like if we're gonna do like the 1st, I think it should be the 3rd since the season started on September 3rd. So like either October 3rd or November 3rd. Pick your poison.
I prefer November personally. I sort of think 2 months
3rd?
checks out. Yeah.
I mean, I'll do November 3rd. Okay.
Why not? Why are we not doing the whole season though? Like end of season ELO. That's what we're basing the teams on. Like.
Because it just like drags everything out, you know. You wanna see people want to see the bet happen, right? And then as we prep for next season, people think about next season. They're not worried about. Also, like, do you really want to be stressing out about this all season long, Tristen? Like, we're talking to people that don't really finish their sets on most days, right? Like, do we all want to be stressed out and doing 25 battles every day?
No.
Yeah.
Tristan's like, of course
coming from the person that didn't even GBL much after Fantasy Cup.
Right, because the bet was over, so I stopped playing.
Look, you're just looking for motivation to play the game.
We could do how about this? If you're feeling into it, we could do an October 3rd to end the season bet as well. You know, part 2 if you want, right? You could double or pass it on.
Double or nothing.
Yeah. Next one could be whoever loses has to cosplay as Officer Jenny or Nurse Joy.
I think that's definitely more terrible for some of us over than others.
Hey, I would rock it. Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
I actually went as Nurse Joy for Halloween one year.
I
had a whole.
I had a whole costume. Done it.
Yeah, I had
maybe Kaz can't be Nurse Joy. You have to be the Chansey. You have to be Chansey and Tristan has to be Nurse Joy.
I love it so
and then
much.
you two have to do this at an event that you're both at.
Oh my god, amazing.
And sit next to each other in the stands the whole time.
So
that front row, so that when they pan to the crowd shot, we can see it on the podcast.
Who do we have to bribe so that we both get like paired in a
me and Kaz will just conveniently not be at any of the same events.
Well, it's already very difficult, right?
Well, if you drag it on too long, it's going to be in Anaheim, okay? So like pick your poison on how long you want to wait for. You know? Wouldn't you rather have it be in Peoria?
Oh my god.
That means I have to go to Peoria.
Yeah. Imagine bringing Nurse Joy outfit on the plane.
That's a big ask for anybody.
Okay, so we'll say October 3rd, and then
people there.
Wait, say again?
Oh, November.
Yeah, November 3rd. November 3rd.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's good because by the time we get to November 3rd, like we're already getting news about like the next season and stuff. So that'll give us kind of some time to.
Well, I don't know about that. Historically, that doesn't happen until like November 26th.
I always have hope, Steve. Hope springs eternal.
Do we want to do a first to veteran bet?
Wait,
I mean,
first
I feel
veteran or
like...
last to veteran?
First a veteran, I think.
First.
Maybe we should do last a veteran, because that will incentivize people to play more. You know.
I feel like both first a veteran and last a veteran pit two different people against each other.
I don't know, man.
I do think that is the story.
Okay, how about there's something for first a veteran and something that's last a veteran? So there's a race. There's a reward for getting to first, but there's also a punishment for being last.
Okay, what are your suggestions?
Okay, I think maybe the person that gets first gets to dictate something for a person that gets last.
In what sort of caliber? Like what?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. This is my idea, right? So that way we don't have to do like multiple things to it. Just like there's one punishment, but the first person gets to decide. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a little extra.
Yeah.
Because in my head, the last person a veteran is either going to be me or Kaz, and the first person.
I don't know, man. Don't count yourself out. Build yourself a shuckle like Debbie Pebble, and you'll be good. You'll be throwing them pebbles at everything and destroying them.
I don't even have a good. I've been trying for. I've been had multiple shuckle lucky trades.
Okay, how about this? I got one. All right. Okay.
He's lost it.
Okay, the winner of the veteran bet gets to make the person that lost max out a Galarian Pokemon. Could be any Galarian Pokemon they're choosing.
I mean, there's an ability factor in it.
Yeah. Like the most you can do, obviously. If you don't have like 296 XLs, then you go and do so much, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty happy to do. I'm happy to waste my resources.
In the spirit of Galar and the max out season.
Yeah, so you're saying whoever makes it to veteran first gets to pick a Pokemon for the person who makes it last to max out.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
Or the most they can max.
Yeah, no. That sounds fun.
Right. Yeah, but let's make this clear.
If I win this, I'm making someone power up a Phalanx. You better go play that Phalanx raid day. That's all I'm saying. You better hope you get a hundo. So it has some utility.
How much?
Joke's on you! I already have a hundo.
Snap! I don't have enough candy to get it to level 40 at this stage. So
I'll think about it. It might not have to be a Phalanx. I'll have to look at the Galar decks and see. Actually, let me just look real quick.
I don't think there's too much in there. So at the moment, I have 18 Pokemon from the Galar region.
Let me open my game back up. And
there's the
some of these are pretty stupid looking, like a Orbeetle. What the heck is that? I mean, it's not out yet, but
right.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at everything in there.
Is that like the?
Wait, Ludicolo is considered Galar? It's probably it's like a pseudo Galar
Pokedex.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Galar Pokemon.
There are currently 27 Galar Pokemon in the game.
26.
Wait, is that including like Weezing and Slowpoke and stuff?
Oh, actually, no, it's not. Yeah, no, because they're not in the. I was looking at the in-game Pokedex for Galar.
Currently, I have 19 Pokemon, but yes, you like with the new availability of like the first starters. Or the first partner Pokemon and the Dreepy, they all have 3-stage evolutions. So that's like, 3, 6, 9,
an extra
12. Yeah, that's like an extra 12 that are available.
Yeah. You can just type Galar into your in-game thingo and, it all.
Yeah. I'll think on it. Maybe there'll be more Galar Pokemon. Oh, actually, by the time Expert's done, probably not that much. Maybe I'll just have someone max out Dreepy. I'm just kidding. That's going to go up to like 2 levels because no one's going to have any.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Cool.
Wait, have you guys? Yeah, I was going to say, have you guys actually caught one yet?
No,
I haven't. Yeah,
I was focusing on my max particle grind.
Yes. One Pokemon that is out in the Galar. Obviously, it's not going to be out probably by veteran comes around. It's Dracovish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by how small it is. Like, look at this teeny tiny little creature.
Is that extra small?
No, that's just the regular size.
Oh wow.
Well, because the Dreepies are like the little ones on the side of the head of the Dragapult, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
When I first got it, I was kind of excited because like this is what it looked like, but then I actually typed that in and I was like, oh, that's actually not that great. Dang it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was weather boosted too, which like never happens. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess the amount of Galar Pokemon that is out in the game that you could max out are kind of on the slim end, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have someone max out Wooloo, you know, something random. Everyone's got Wooloo candy, right? Steve's like, I'm going to catch less Wooloo this week just in case.
I'm not going to have enough for 40.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you basically have to max one out if you've ever wanted to play it in Ultra League. So
that's true. I mean, I never have had the inkling, for the record.
Yeah.
But
because like I did mine as much as I could, and like this lucky one, and that's like as high as it gets.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I can only power it up. To max it out, I think I only have like, I don't know.
You can max out the Hundo all the way up to right under 2,500. But there's like best buddy variants if you want like a better.
Yeah, you might need the best buddy years for more stats.
Yeah, mine will be. I still need to best buddy it, but like if I max it out before the best buddy, it's like gets to 2460. So best buddy is like pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, well we have some bets in store. I'm ready to climb in this little cup. I'm just saying. I'm about to post a screenshot of Veteran ASAP. Anyway, the championship series. So there's a few updates. I think Tristen was the one that posted this one, so feel free to take it.
There's not much, but they updated the list of banned Pokemon, and they took off the Galarian birds as well as Marshadow. I don't really know. I don't understand like why Marshadow was on there to begin with or taken off, because I don't think you can get one in Great League.
No,
I'm pretty sure 10-10-10 is still too big.
Yeah.
But the big one is really the Galarian birds, which have been banned forever and are now eligible for play.
Is Sucker Punch Moltres any good?
It's okay.
I know Sucker Punch got buffed, but
like, it's sort of one of those, someone could make a run with it, but like it's not. Don't expect to see people clamoring like
72.
Oh, it's inaccessible.
72 is not terrible. It
No,
beats Gastrodon, well, obviously. It beats Mandibuzz, which is kind of interesting.
I mean, it probably has a better
beats Cresselia and
charge
Jump
move, right?
Yeah, it's Ancient Power, which is why.
It's better than Aerial.
Let's see something else that's around 72. Umbreon 70. That's actually kind of wild. It's actually got the same rating score as Umbreon's tied. No, actually, no. It's 0.1 less. It's just below Umbreon. It's Abomasnow is right below it at 73. Dewgong's at 76. So, honestly, Moltres doesn't look too bad, at least on the Sims, but it is kind of bait dependent with Ancient Power and Brave Bird. I think is a big factor there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what do you guys
Galarian Stunfisk is underneath it, obviously.
What do you guys? How do you guys feel about those being unbanned? What are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird to do it now, but I guess they have been out. Have they been out like longer than a year?
I'd say like something like Galarian Bird is way more accessible than running a Spinda in Great League.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I think arguably this is more accessible than even running a max out Metacham, right? Like, you're more likely to encounter one of these birds who just do it instance every day and just drop a mass ball on it, and I actually don't think these are highly inaccessible compared to some other stuff.
Yeah,
well,
I think good, it seems like maybe the ban list has been updated in time with. Well, everyone has had access to multiple Master Balls now. So, in theory, if you've been able to see one, then you should have at least one by now. So,
but do you have one for Great League? Because you could have seen one that was at like 2,500 or something.
You could trade for these two, though.
Of each, yeah. I have one of each bird that I've caught myself. Two of them are in Great League. One is in Ultra, but it's terrible.
I literally just caught my first Great League Gala Articuno yesterday. Like it popped up, it had a 46 CP, and I was like, I'm just gonna go and Razz Ultra Ball. Like I've surely 46.
Yeah, you can't Master Ball that thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But consider the flex of it popping out of the Master Ball and you use it on the stream, you know?
Yeah, that's not necessary. But like, it's also not like I'm only missing one for Great League, and it is unfortunately the one that is going to be any good.
Yeah, so, the Moltres. Yeah, that's one I'm missing too. I have this app.
That's the only one that I don't have in Great League. I
thought Kaz would have like 20 of these. You know, as a bird
I
master
never
herself.
see them. I never see
them. Do you
them.
drop the daily incense every day too?
I usually do because I'm out walking anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. And I like. Unlucky. Other than the 3 I've caught, I've only seen 2 that have ran from me.
Yeah,
that's just that's incredibly.
Or in general.
Well, no, the 2 that ran from me, they were pretty high.
Okay.
So I just don't see them. Like, I don't know how people are getting such regular encounters with them, because I feel like I use my daily incense regularly and never see these birds.
Yeah. Look, on the whole, I think it's probably, they may as well be unbanned. I know Mikey Morgs is pretty excited out there to finally get to use his Galarian birds. I think he had a challenge or a cup on that like last weekend before the move changes and stuff, so he could at least give the other Galarian Zapdos a go with the old moveset. I don't know if he actually did, but I hope he did.
Someone who wins a regional with one on their team is like my greatest hero. like you are my truest idol.
Okay, I have a title that I want to gain now. I want to be, we'll see what the next season's move updates do, because again, there's no Australian regionals in this season, so see if it gets nerfed to heck.
Gotta travel for a regional.
Yeah. You go to LAC, right?
Yeah, I did. I unfortunately found out that so my original thought was there's a regional in Argentina, a special event in Argentina, then LAIC.
Yeah, the week before, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's one in North America in Sacramento the week after. Yep. I've just found out that I have a work commitment the week after LAIC, so I can't do the North American one. Yeah,
because you said your family's in that NorCal area, right?
Yeah, so it would have super easy. Really worked out and been really nice. So unfortunately, that one's just been hard cut off. So there's still.
What about the first part with the LAIC in Argentina?
I'm still thinking about it. It's got some possibility.
Your honestly, commitment can't be remote. You can't remote work.
Nah, it's there was only 2 weeks of the entire year that I couldn't skip, and one of them was NAIC, one of them is the Sacramento tournament. But I was really looking at LAIC harder before they nerfed ICs. Now that ICs award less points for middling performances, it's a little less worthwhile.
Well, don't middle around then. You better be above middle then.
Look, I'm still looking at it. We'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
But I mean, it's not just for the points, right? It's also for experience.
Exactly. Yeah, but I was hoping to tap a North American regional in there.
Look at that stuff from Tristen. It's about the memories you make, not about if you win or not. Look, I'm gonna try to make no bad memories. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Caleb went to NAIC. I think he still had a good time.
I would have had a better time if I beat you, but it is what it is.
That's why I let you get me in that what was it, Summer Cup?
Yeah, you did throw that one. Yeah, I don't know. I should not have won that one, but so there on top of the bans being updated too, there's a bunch of other things. Definitely want to read through the rule book before you attend any official events. But one thing that I noted is screen recording is necessary for Pokemon Go. I think in the past it was more optional, but I'm pretty sure it's necessary now, and that's a very important thing to note because at least based on my past experience in the past few tournaments I played in, I noticed this too, that the judges would come up to me, especially after I win a match, right? I don't think they did it when I lost a match, but when I won the match, the team checked me. So they'll check the moves I registered in the Pokemon and then look at my, actual team in my phone to make sure that everything matches. But they'll also go through additional step of looking at my screen recording to make sure that the moves I had in that game were accurate. Because what if I had the same CP Pokemon, I just was throwing random moves and, or I had a different move on it, right? I assume the opponent would have said something, but maybe I just didn't use a move or something and I had it on there, right? So just make sure you screen record everything, right? It's not optional anymore. It's just necessary. So make sure you do it so you don't lose any unnecessary points from being penalized or whatever, DQ'd off of that. So that's a big aspect to that. But yeah, that's that. We have.
I've never been team checked for record, but I guess it probably
Come
depends
on,
on
you
your
won with
local.
Wilmer. You had to have gotten teach. Maybe
They
it could be
didn't.
just the judges
They
didn't.
checked
Yeah.
other people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, this guy can't be cheating if he's running Wilmer. So,
Look, based on the cheers coming from behind this guy, I'm going to assume it's legit.
yeah, like this Wilmer can have any move and it'll be all right. Yeah,
this all lines up.
Yeah. All right, let's hop down to Professor Tristen. What you got?
Okay, so the change that I have is going to be a buff to the move Gust.
Right now, I like where this is going.
Doesn't Gust kind of hit hard already?
Right now, it's a confusion clone, so it's like okay, but like not the best. Let me pull up the actual stats because it's been a sec since I looked at this.
I thought it was just more so that things that learn it aren't really viable, but the move itself is okay. How's it compared to Volt Switch? That's another 4-turn move.
For the record, there's only 3 Pokemon on PvP that has Gust.
So Yveltal, Pidgeot, and what?
Oh, for Great League specifically. I wasn't thinking about the other leagues.
So Gust is a 4-turn, 16 damage, 12 energy, and then Volt Switch is the opposite, 12 damage, 16 energy. Okay. So Volt Switch is a good amount better because it's more energy oriented. Gust is a confusion clone, which like is like okay, but not like we haven't really had many viable confusion users in a while. Like it's just it's like a 4-turn Dragon Breath, but with like worse typing, and like the fact that it's a longer turn duration means it's just not as good.
So you would just make it like a Volt Switch clone instead.
I don't think you have to flip it. I think you can make it like you can increase the energy to 14 so that it would be like 4 DPT and like 3.5 EPT.
There might be more utility behind it now that Wing Attack got nerfed too, right? So
right, that's the thought process. Not as useful. Right, that was my thought process. Is like Flyers kind of took a massive hit with the Wing Attack nerf, so it would be a way. I mean, I would like to. I might be in the minority, but I would like to see Wing Attack get reverted at some point. I think that was a pretty unnecessary change, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I faced off against a Gligar yesterday. Oh my god! I didn't know what the counts were, but that guy was not getting to the moves. You know, I was like, this guy's just not reaching it. There are like 1 million Wing Attacks and still haven't thrown a single move yet.
Yeah, I faced a Gligar in like rank 4, and I was like, someone tell this guy. Like,
they did not read the update. Yeah.
But I would like to see. I would like to see Wing Attack get reverted at some point. It just felt so unnecessary. Like I get they wanted to nerf Gligar, but like I think the Dig nerf was good for that.
And Mantine wasn't that broken in my opinion. So
right,
like,
they killed so many flying types. They killed Mantine. They killed Pelipper, Charizard, like Pidgeot, like literally so many flying types. Exactly.
Noctowl was already in the grave, but they just like grave robbed the Noctowl and took everything with it.
So like
nobody was using it anymore.
Yeah, I would like to see Wing Attack get reverted, but like in the meantime, because like I feel like that's going to take longer for them to maybe do.
You never know. They reverted Steel Wing buff like literally like 6 months after they gave it the buff, right?
Right, but I'm saying if we have to wait 6 months for Wing Attack to get reverted, at least in 3 months we could see Gust get buffed.
Oh, I think we'll wait more than 6 months to see Wing Attack reverted as well.
But yeah, I'd like to see Gust get buffed to compensate some Flyers. Pidgeot would be the big one. You can also give it to like Golbat and Crobat. And then there's some like really
Poison Fang.
Yeah, there's some really funky stuff that can learn it too, like Luminion and like Masquerain and stuff that could be like.
Luminion can learn Gust? That's kind of
in main series, it doesn't have it in Go.
I guess
suggesting giving it to it.
Yeah.
But if it can learn it in the main series, it could potentially come to Go at some point.
Could be interesting. I the only reason I mentioned Yveltal as the example is because this past week at Battle Frontier, our Master League player Monstars was using Yveltal with Gus, and that thing shredded that Tapu Bulu. I was like, I don't know, this damage is actually kind of nice. They had a Tapu Bulu and a Heracross on their team, and that Gus damage was really chunking. So, But yeah, I guess that's like a very niche example of having Gust doing more damage being useful.
Well, I remember when Gust Pidgeot was like the preferred Pidgeot in Great League.
Yeah.
And I believe this was like, maybe it was Kanto Cup or something in
yeah, I don't think Wing Attack was
GBL.
buffed back then either.
Yeah, no. This was before that. But like, I remember that damage being like, ooh, very nice.
Kind of hurts, yeah. Especially against Machamp, too.
Yeah,
which was pretty common there. I actually faced a Steel Wing Pidgeot yesterday, and that thing was kind of annoying into my Garbing. I was like, whoa.
Even with the nerf?
Yeah.
I guess it still hurts.
yeah. It was hurting. I was like, what the heck? This really hurts. I was like, I thought my super effective Rockto was doing more damage, but it wasn't. Anyway, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be a good one.
And there's just some like random interesting things that might not be like central meta in Great League, but like could at least be more viable spice picks. Like again, I don't think Masquerain is going to be meta, but like I could see someone messing around with it in a theme cup or as a spice pick in Open Great League. You know, like it can bring some more mons into relevance. You know, I think Luminion is actually like sounds like it would be a spice pick, but I think it has decent bulk. So I think like with Gust and like it might need like another good charge mover or something. It could actually maybe see some play. So I think there's some potential there for sure.
Okay. I think that could be interesting for sure. I would love to see some Luminion action in competitive because I don't even know like what moves that thing has. I mentioned briefly about Battle Frontier, but let's go to our Grassroots section where we have Battle Frontier is still ongoing. They had a Battle Tower. For those that don't know, Battle Frontier is a team format and hosted by a bunch of notable members in the community and a lot of Grassroots stuff, led mostly by Greg. And they have a battle tower, and the battle tower is the winner. There's 4 pods for the battle tower, 4 different battle towers going on at once. And I think the winners of the battle towers qualify for Worlds for Battle Frontier. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
It was basically they created the tower because they kept kind of delaying the start of the new cycle, like the sort of the official play, just because of like this massive move update and the timing of worlds and
there's
everything.
Some like lag issues too, I think.
And there was some play
the frame
issues.
drops. There was all the frame drops, and I know they also like had weird timing because they were waiting till after Go Fests to start it.
So they kept delaying it, and I think quite a few teams were getting frustrated. Like, oh, our members thought that this was going to be the schedule, and now maybe we'll have less people, and so they were like, okay. What we'll do is we'll have kind of a mini tournament that everyone can feature in, in the meantime. And if you win in your tower, you get qualified for Worlds automatically. But otherwise, it's just kind of a way to get the competition started, like with the metas we created, before the official cycle begin or whatever. I know that my team, the Queen Bees, we joined it as our thought was kind of like, well, we don't get a lot of opportunities to practice like in the specialty metas. So this might be good, like a good way to like, get some practice in our team building in these specialty metas and like with the point system for the open leagues, just to kind of like learn more about it before the official cycle starts.
Yeah.
And it's been going pretty well so far. It's been really fun.
Okay. Yeah. We're in it as well with the Cool Cats, and we're on the final week right now, and we're undefeated.
Yeah.
So
we need to
win this one.
I think we've lost 2 weeks and won 2, so we're pretty even right now. But I've had a lot of fun in the Wasteland meta that they created.
You're not playing Ultra League?
I am this week actually. Okay. Because our Ultra League specialist had to step out.
This week's wild.
Yeah,
I was looking at the points. It's wild. You want to see my team?
Yeah, let's see.
Because the teams aren't revealed yet. Yeah, you can see my team if you want. But by the time this episode comes out, it's already revealed. So like, there's not much they could do with this info, even if they're watching it. But I have this. I have a Virizion, Lickitung, or Licky, Tentacruel, Shadow Drapion, Malamar, and Clefable. Man, I've had this Malamar made for like years.
I don't think I can build a Malamar, so I'd need a substitute for
that. I called this Malamar back in 2021.
Yeah, I have 1-2 build, but I don't have all the candies necessary just yet.
Oh, yeah.
But I
can't substitute a Malmar.
I have everything else. But so I am in Ultra League this week, but I've been having a lot of fun in Wasteland. Like I just generally like a lot of the Pokemon that are there, and there's like no bulk in that meta, so like everything hits. Yeah. And it's pretty fun. This is actually because they have leaderboards for each individual meta as well. So I actually made the leaderboard for the Wasteland meta too because it's been going really well.
Oh, I'm definitely not no leaderboard. I've not been playing well at all.
Yeah, stuff, I think I'm in the group of like tied for third or whatever.
Oh yeah, because I think you were posted in our group chat that like you were like tied with like Tristen or something, right?
Yeah,
but probably not anymore because Tristen has been playing.
Yeah, Tristen has dropped off.
I had to bench him after his performances. No, I'm just kidding. He actually clutched up big time. We almost lost the first week. We're down like I forgot what we were down by. Well, we needed to go 5-1 in our final 2 matches to win it because we're down bad, right? Like I think we only won like 1 match. So before Tristen goes as Monstars, he went 2-1. So Tristen had to close it out with a 3-0.
Oh my God.
That was so stressful.
He somehow pulled it off against her captain. Yeah, it was crazy. The worst part is like at one point because we're on a call watching, and I was muted because when Korner and his brother Kaz were like staying at my place, so they're sleeping next to me. So I was like, well, I can't be talking, but I was like, I'll watch. And it was like 3 other people on the call, and Tristan's like, oh, like how much should I overfarm with this Melmetal, right? And they're like, well, what are they at, right? Because it's like a Nidorina or something with Dig. And he's like, I don't know. And then Berto's like, Berto's like, well, I don't count. And then BJ's like, I don't know then. Just throw like 1 Thundershot. You can't go too much. And it was our 3rd game. We're tied 10-10, right? I'm literally like, dude, like, don't do that again. We have 5 people on call and no one's counting on the final game that decides the result of this.
After we clawed our whole way back.
It was crazy. Yeah, after we clawed our way back and no one's counting, like, let alone, not even just the first game, but the 3rd game.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think our craziest week was actually our Master League specialist, and we only have 1. We don't really have any backup Master League players. Yeah, those are hard to come by. They had kind of a situation that they needed to deal with, and we had to do the emergency sub.
Oh, what? How do you do that?
Yeah, like we had to have someone else come in and play with the team that she had previously registered. Yeah. So first of all, it was fortunate that we had the eSub available, like someone who actually like was available, who said that they weren't available that week, right?
Right.
In the Master League, which they don't normally play in. And then she also had those Pokemon to like build, and I was like, oh my god. And
she didn't use like 200 rare candy XLs on a Shuckle, right?
No. So she was like, not, obviously none of us feel very comfortable in Master League other than Emma. So she was like, I'm gonna do my best, and she managed to pull the 2-1 that we needed to win.
Oh, nice. That's crazy. Well, who was it?
It was Miju, MJ.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was amazing. I was like praising her so much. I was like, thank you.
It's impressive too that she even had the whole team ready to go.
I know, right? I was
step in and pull out the win too. Like
this is what miracles are made of. And she was actually playing someone that I'm familiar with because they live in a different part of Georgia. So I've like seen them. Like I see them at regionals and in tournaments and stuff. And
Kaz strolled on over and cut their Wi-Fi cords.
No, but
no worries. It's just power outage in Georgia,
Yeah,
he does it at my place too. Yeah,
yeah. And so I was like, and he's good. Like I know that he's good. So like I know that she was not comfortable, but man, that was an incredible moment. I was like, this is what miracles are made of.
That's wild. It was the final battle of the week.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Oh my gosh!
And she literally needed to go 2-1 and managed to do it. Nice. She was very happy, and I was so proud.
Was it like 2-0 right off the start, and then you lost the 3rd one, or was it like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's at least. It's stressful when it's like 1-1, and you have to win the last one.
Exactly.
Imagine that's the scenario, and then no one counts on that third game because that's what we experienced, right?
That's what you were doing. Yeah. No, it's the team competition is always really fun for that reason, because you really do it. There are a lot of moments like that feel like you're really coming together and like everyone's working together to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's as stressful as it can be sometimes. Like those are good moments.
Yeah, definitely. And if anyone's interested in, the Battle Frontier team formats for next cycle, I believe it might be too late to register, but there might be some teams looking to recruit players. I think there's they have 2 days to lock in their players, but
yeah, I was going to say
something to be on the lookout of.
Technically, you have to have players for the next cycle locked in by September 6th. So that's only 2 more days. Yeah. But once that cycle ends, I'm sure that there probably will be another one. So at the end of each cycle, there is sort of an open period where people can leave or join teams. So if you're into PvP and you're interested in not just playing against others, but working with others, this Battle Frontier is a pretty cool opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I like the collaborative nature of it, because it's everything else is all solo, and it's nice, working together with people, all supporting each other, and you share in each other's successes, and you also share in each other's failures, and it's nice to have that support when it doesn't go so well, and nice to have that support and people to cheer with when it does go well. So it's definitely a lot of fun. But you don't have to, if you're not on a team, there's only certain windows where you can officially join the roster, but you don't have to wait until that window to try to find a team. You can talk to people in the meantime, and they might not be able to add you for a couple months, but you can already have a team ready to go, and when that window opens, they can add you right away, sort of a deal. So you don't have to wait. And if
it is something that you are interested in joining, they have obviously they have a Discord where people communicate, and there are channels in there if you're looking for a team or looking for a player, so like Tristen said, even if you're not can't jump in right now, you can get the ball rolling and kind of find your people.
Yeah. And if you'd like to do team formats, but you can't do Battle Frontier, there's another team format on the horizon. It's actually hosted from DracoViz and Team Unified, and they're testing out some team formatting stuff for their sites. DracoViz obviously does a lot of graphics for the Official Championship Series, but they actually have their own tournament hosting platform as well, which is at dracoviz.com. It's dracoviz.gg, kind of like Sylph.gg back in the day. But yeah, it's probably arguably the best tournament hosting platform we have at the moment. Especially, you can host a tournament on there even if you're not in team format. If you want to just host for your community, you can use that as well. People use it for their locals sometimes if the local organizers are aware of it, and then to try out some team format. And I think Team Unified, it's teams of 3 with 2 people as potential subs, so essentially teams of 5 potentially.
Yeah, teams of 5 with 3 that play each week.
Yeah, and you can sign up to be a part of that, I think, starting now until whenever. So there's probably a deadline on that.
Until September 16th is when the group stage starts.
Yep.
And then there are semifinals.
And there's cash prize too, $600 for the winner.
Exactly.
So here's my dilemma, because I was talking about this last night with some of my teammates. Do you go for 5 people with 2 subs, or you just roll with 3 and you get $200 a piece? I'm feeling kind of some way if it's just 3 people with 2 subs, but the subs only play 1 week or so, right? What's how do you split the cash there?
If you need an emergency sub, I'll take $10. I won't plan to play at all. I'll just take a little on the side if you're desperate.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. I think I'll roll with my just 3 with no subs.
From the number one.
I think I'll risk I think I'll keep the $10.
Yeah.
So and the big things that's different between this and Battle Frontier Factions is that it's a team draft format. So basically it's all in Great League, but between the 3 slots, you can't have any overlap.
Yeah.
So if Caleb has Bastion, neither of the other players can have Bastion.
Ain't no one else wants Bastion, especially in this meta.
That's true.
Bastion been neutered. What can you do here? Maybe Carbink, but yeah.
But also, it looks like there's a 64 team cap. So if you are interested, make sure you sign up soon, because it could fill up.
Check out DracoViz on X to find out more info. I think Team Unified House has an X account, but I don't know it off the top of my head. So yeah, you'll find that information there.
It also says visit dracoviz.gg/tournament/unified for more info.
That's also a good place to go. But yeah, that's gonna do it for our Grassroots formats. Go win yourself that $600. And let's talk about the tea this week. We had former second place finisher of Worlds last year, Rubik's Master, and he made a video, which I think is like his first video he's made. But anyone want to break it down for us?
I haven't actually seen it yet.
So. Yeah, so I gave it a watch. Essentially, he sort of argues that Pokemon Go, he uses some very divisive is the wrong word, but he uses some maybe pessimistic language, or like, I'll just sell it properly in that it's very like he sort of says that Pokemon Go isn't competitive as is. There's not enough skill expression in the game. It's too simple. There's not enough, ways to actually use skill, and he sort of lays out a lot of ways that it should be better.
17-minute video with 2.6k views already, so definitely caught the eyes of a decent amount of people.
Yeah, I mean,
he was basically, his argument was that PvP is solved because he was trying to say that, like, well, exactly how every battle's going to play out, because like PvPoke is so perfect and like everyone knows the matchups or something, so like PvP is solved was basically his kind of argument.
Yeah, it was a little bit reductive in a lot of ways. So like, for example, he was talking about, as Tristen said, how it's all solved and the switch timer being at 60 seconds is like so long, and obviously it's 50 now, but switch timer being at 60 seconds is so long that you pretty much, once you've swapped and your opponent swapped, you're just playing out the PvPoke matchup from there, and you should know exactly how it works. And like, I think he sort of mentioned that IVs are a thing, but once you know your IVs, it's whatever. A sort of good rebuttal to that sense that I saw was talking about the ability of undercharging, and how undercharging is not only an extra aspect of skill expression, but and another sort of wrinkle that can make a matchup go a little bit different. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that he was advocating for damage rolls to be added into Pokemon Go. So for those that aren't aware, in VGC, when they use an attack, it doesn't do the same amount of damage every time you use it. There's actually like a slight damage roll. You can low roll, you can high roll, and there's a range of damage that each attack can do. I think it's like 85% to 100%.
Something like that. I think he was advocating for like 91 to 100% or something on damage rolls, and he was also wanting there to be like a possibility of like critical hits and stuff. And it's like, it just some of his ideas I thought were interesting, but like one of my biggest gripes with his ideas was like he was wanting to introduce all these additional like RNG elements to the game, which like like his argument was that like then like you don't know, like it won't play out like the Sims because you don't know exactly how much damage it's going to do, and then you have to adjust based on like if the move did full damage or like 90% or something. But like I just like, sure, then the games won't all play out consistently, but I don't think it doesn't improve skill expression by increasing RNG either.
I kind of disagree in some sense. Like I do really see the argument in that there is an ability to, by introducing RNG into the game, which is what he's advocating for, there is a lot more on the fly win con finding that's necessary. So I can certainly see how skill expression would be increased in some sense. And it's not just about, in some sense, really quick memorization and like whatnot, but like that's moving towards a more, more of an RNG game. So I think we've talked about on this podcast so many times. I think we're sort of all on the same page that on our end, we would sort of prefer essentially more customization in the game, in the sense of like, items or abilities, or just like more depth to the game. which isn't
I think
really what he was advocating for.
I think RNG's fine in a game if the game is long enough, right?
Yeah,
You know, like VG, I don't know if people like the RNG aspect of it, but the games are long enough that, like, yes, there's RNG, but there's so many RNG like possibilities throughout a game that it's fine, you know. Whereas in Go, like for example, just boosting out a Night Slash could end the game right then and there, right? On the first Night Slash, even on Annihilate. You could potentially just get your entire team steamrolled after that. You know, obviously, maybe you probably didn't build a team really good into Annihilate, but without a boost Annihilate, you probably would have been fine, right? There's a lot of neutral play. But
I do think that's a good point. Like how short our games are by comparison makes it feel unfair when the RNG like benefits you know your opponent over you, just because there's just not very much opportunity to counter that at all. I do think the shorter timer is a step in the right direction, and a lot of people pointed that out in the comments. Like, you know, maybe an even shorter timer would make it feel less you know, less of a sort of detriment, because there would be a quicker turnaround for resolving that boost or whatever.
Definitely.
I don't like those responses, actually. I think they're correct, but it's like you're like trying to justify a I don't know, I should be careful with the phrasing here, but like a bad game state by saying, "Oh, things will get better with like slightly better with 10 seconds," which is true. But I think like having played with the 50-second timer already for like a day, like yes, it does make things better, but like you got Shadow Victory Belt to Gastrodon, it still like sucks, right? For 50 seconds.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, there's still
like
there's still
like
it's not the only solution. But I think it's the one.
It is a step forward, but it's a very small.
It's the one that's on people's minds right now, just because they did make it. They did change the timer, which shows that they are kind of in some way thinking about ways to update the gameplay itself. So that's why I think it's kind of the default response for a lot of people. And I don't think it's necessarily wrong, but I do think it's limited to think that that's the only way we could change it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you there. And I think Rubik's Master trying to push the envelope as in like, I want to overhaul a lot of things because just a 50-second timer is not going to fix a lot of these issues. And I would agree with that, right? I don't necessarily agree with a lot of his fixes, but we talked about it on this podcast plenty of times where like the game has gotten to a point where people are just too good at it. And like, it's a game where you can make 0 mistakes and still lose. And it's just like, that's just crazy to me, you know, but it's because our games are just too short.
Your mistake is you made the wrong decision at the beginning. But
you like the game was over at the lock-in screen, right? For a lot of matches,
which isn't ideal, but I'm just saying that is a decision point, and
I mean it is, I guess. I mean that's like saying like, you know, we're playing rock paper scissors and like the mistake you made was when you put out the rock instead of the paper.
I think the comment from PV Poke, you know, themselves is, you know, probably the most nuanced one. You know, he says in there, while 1v1 matchups could be considered solved, full games aren't, because Go has enough hidden information that there isn't a guaranteed right play.
I think that's generally true for most matches, especially on the more casual level in GBL. But like, especially in Show 6 or even in GBL sometimes on the high level, like that's actually not necessarily the case. Like I think on high level PP, especially in these like championship series format, like if you're watching like talented players, especially at Worlds, right? You see this a lot at Worlds, like really good players. A lot of times the outcome is already like decided as long as they play it right, right? And obviously, like you might not play it right. You could hope that your opponents make a mistake, right? But I think like there is a guaranteed right play, actually, you know, like to counter P-Poke's points. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes there is a guaranteed right play based on what you see in the lead and what they say swap. You could literally make the conclusion that like no matter what they have in the back, as long as they come in with this and maintain switch advantage or whatever, I win. Or I grab a shield advantage, I give up switch advantage, no matter what, I win. There's nothing that could beat this combination in the back, right? And like I think like there's a lot of scenarios like that on high level gameplay. Obviously, I don't think that impacts like 90%, maybe 95% of battles in the population of PBers. But I think at the upper level, it is there. That is not necessarily always true what people are saying. Which, again, that is a minority. But I think like I think you always need to consider at the upper level what is possible and what is not. And like if like comebacks are not possible at the upper level, that eventually trickles down to the rest, right? When people
For
get better at the
sure.
game in the middle part. But also like it's just like imagine saying like at the highest level of the game's not working very well, or the game's not very exciting because of how the gameplay is, right? I was just like, yeah, it doesn't impact the rest of the 90% of the gameplay and casual players, but like if it's impacting at the highest level, then and you limit skill expression already there, then it prevents the game from growing and
Right.
being,
Yeah.
what it
I mean,
could
I
be,
think,
right?
I guess my take on it is like I don't agree with like this the blanket statement of PvP is solved. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
simplistic, and like
Mhm.
I I generally agree
Yeah.
with Matt in terms of like the games aren't typically so straightforward. Like yes, there are some
Matt is
games
P-Poke,
where
by the way, for those
yeah,
that aren't aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
right there's definitely some games where it's very straightforward, but for the most part there's certainly more nuance and opportunities for skill expression. So I don't really agree with the whole PvP is solved take, and I don't agree with like the adding more RNG in. But I mean, we've talked about this before. I do agree that the game does need more depth and complexity. The game
Mhm.
does need more opportunities for skill expression, and like I might not necessarily love a lot of Rubik's specific ideas for implementing it, but I do appreciate that he's coming up with some possibilities in terms of things
Yeah.
that could make the game more, you know, complicated and have more dynamic to
Yeah.
it. And maybe hopefully Niantic is able to take some of those ideas and adjust them in a way that's better. Rubik's had ideas for certain held items or abilities, and maybe those and even status effects, and like maybe his specific ideas aren't quite it, but maybe those are things that can be you know modified in such a way that they do fit better with the game and make things more expansive. Because I mean, we've talked about this quite a few times on the podcast now, like the game definitely does need more depth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's too
But I
too
also
one-dimensional right now, I think.
Yeah.
I do find the timing a little funny, just because he dropped this video like right before the Switch clock was changing, and like before we know we have form changes coming, which again, we need more than that, but like those are a start. So
Mhm.
that's sort of how I see it anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he was working on it like right after Worlds, right? There's a bunch of Worlds clips and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But hey, props to him though. Saying is PP is solved is one way to get interactions on your video. Like you didn't post no thumbnail or nothing. You just dropped a straight up link on X and just went with it. He had not really any subscribers on his channel before that, and got a decent amount of eyes on it. So
Yeah.
it is definitely an interesting take, and I do agree with some sentiments too, but obviously not all of it and all his ideas. But hey, at least people are talking. And some
Yeah.
people seem to think they're very satisfied with the state of the game, and that's fine. I don't think
Yeah.
people have to necessarily agree with our take or my take or whatever on this. But okay, and to wrap it up, we just have one comment from our last video because I did post it a little bit later. So any other comments you have, post on this video because I'm probably not going to see this comments on this video, the past video. But from our last episode, Max Out Season Breakdown, Artemis Dragon says, "Hey, Battlecats. So how do you all think Niantic came up with these nerfs and buffs for the Max Out season? Some of them were really well thought out, such as buffs to Brutal Swing and Shadow Punch. But then I look at moves such as Parabolic Charge. That begs the question, what was the point? Because if you wanted there to be another viable Electric Charge move implemented, I feel as though adding Electro Ball as a Weather Ball-esque charge move for electric types would have been more impactful than a move like Parabolic Charge that'll probably see another buff within the next 2 seasons. As much as I love Helios, Dedenne, and Belly Bolt, ain't no way that anyone's going to run them with much success. Adding Electro Ball and positively adjusting Thundershock should have been the play, in my opinion. I wouldn't say that Helios, Dedenne, and Belly Bolt have no play. But they probably are still like an update or two away from having utility, right? Like no one was ever going to say like Gligar was going to be useful until a year ago when they actually buffed the wing attack,
I
buffed the
think
aerial ace, and buffed the dig, right?
I think Dedenne could be pretty good,
It's
but
made
it's
top
just
cut
not.
before too,
It's
so
not. It's not in the right meta though. The problem for
yeah,
Dedenne right now is really that like stuff like Gastrodon and Clodsire are really good, which is
Yeah.
pretty detrimental for Dedenne, but it's like...
It was good in a Registeel meta.
Right, if you have a meta that's more like Registeel plus a fighter plus a dragon...
Plus like flyers.
Plus like a flyer or something, like Dedenne is kind of cooking as an anti-meta option, and like that move could certainly buff it, but...
That's why, like, Clodsire got good all of a sudden. Like, I don't think this Poison Sting buff made it that much relevant. Even without the Poison Sting buff, it would still be, like, top of the meta. Maybe not ranked number 1.
Yeah.
But, like, easily ranked top 10.
Yeah, because, like, Skarm and Gligar both got nerfed, so Claude is, like, way better, way safer.
Whiscash, Swampert, Quagsire, all got nerfed.
Right.
Gastrodon just ain't it, man. At least my opinion. I don't know. Gastrodon has, like, no coverage. You're running by same Earth Power. Like, what?
Yeah.
I will say, like... But, like, back to the question, like, I agree. Like, I would also love to see some other electric charge moves added to the game, but I also know that adding new moves is a more complicated process than simply buffing existing moves. So, from that standpoint, like, I think that's why we're seeing that, like, a focus on moves we already have. And there are certainly a lot of mediocre and bad moves that were buffed and other ones that can be buffed in the future. I mean, right, like stuff like Astonish and Sucker Punch went from nowhere to being good. You know, I think Parabolic Charge, it'll be interesting to see. I think it could be a little better, but I think it might be a little better than we're giving it credit for. The biggest problem is just, like I said, I think the meta is a lot of it. And Dedenne is a little on the squishier side too.
Yeah. I also think they're way more careful with introducing new moves to the game. I mean, and we've seen this with previous updates too, because once you kind of give a Pokemon something, it's a little more difficult to kind of like take it back. So, and I think that they like to have additional content, right? You know, oh, let's have, like we were talking about how this raid day doesn't have a special move, but a lot of the times they do. You know, so I think they like to have a way to like release new moves in kind of a more careful and like deliberate fashion.
Yeah, I think you know, we can't really speak to like how Niantic decides on these changes, right? That's obviously a more internal thing. I mentioned it in past episodes too, and any Niantic people listening, I know some of you are listening, right? Just keep a pin in this request. I would love to see a developer's note, right, for every meta change. You know, like, because there's some games they literally change the meta every 2 weeks, and they have a developer's note for every one of them, right? We're changing the PP stuff for the most part every 3 months, right? So at the minimum, just writing like a dev letter maybe, or like a, you know, whatever for every update every 3 months, I think would hopefully not be too much effort, but also can go a long way to show that there's intentionality and rationale behind it. I'll read an excerpt from something from League, right? This is a guy, he just on X, and he posts this, like, here, I'll post it to you all so y'all can see. But he literally posts this long post every single 2 weeks, multiple times, because he posts like, here's the patch, and then here's, you know, maybe adjustments they might make after they actually release the patch, right? Based on some people's feedback as well. Long thing plus a whole document showing all the preview and stuff, and you could tell that they're paying attention, right? Like, for example, he's one excerpt of this is, overall the bot lane meta is quite utility focused, as many carries in the mid lane mean that bot can afford to bring less damage. We're aiming to add a bit of jinx back in the meta, blah blah. Obviously this is stuff like people wouldn't know what the heck I'm talking about, but you could tell that like they're paying attention to what's going on and utilizing that for their updates. They'll look at win rates across the board. They even pay attention to pro play. So they'll say like, oh, we noticed this in pro play, and we'll say like, oh, like even from a viewer experience, this is not the most fun thing to watch, and it's probably not fun for the pro players to play it, but it's just a strategy that works. It's like, let's say like, for example, I was making an analogy, like Bastion Shadow, Victory Bell, and Wigglytuff was so good that even if you don't like it, it's so good and it'll win you like even like tournaments and championship series circuit, right? And imagine like a Niantic dev saying, you know what, like even though this is a very effective strategy, it's a little bit too strong, broken, and it also doesn't, you know, create dynamic gameplay in PvP on the competitive level. So we're going to nerf some of these things. That would make so much sense, right? They nerf Bastion and they nerf Victory Bell. It all makes sense, right? but it shows that they have rationale behind the decisions they make, and it brings, I think it gives people more confidence in the developers and changes. Yeah. You know,
like,
maybe they missed the mark, right?
Why are we nerfing Rock Slide? I'd love to know the justification behind that.
Why the heck are we nerfing Rock Slide? Don't tell me it's because of Carbink, right? Carbink's number 2 on the meta, and it still doesn't feel like number 2 in this meta currently with Power Gem, right?
But
like,
again,
I don't think Rock Slide not.
Tell us who hates Vigoroth the most.
yeah. Who at Niantic hates Vigoroth, right? But it just makes no sense. Vigoroth is not meta relevant even if you don't touch Rock Slide, right? Machamp is forced to run Stone Edge now. I mean, I don't mind it, but like having to use 2 elite TMs on the Karate Chop and the Stone Edge just to use the optimal moveset for Machamp is kind of annoying.
Well, and it's just like a lot of the changes I feel like were very, like, I can understand. Again, I don't understand the Rock Slide one at all. Like, if you wanted to nerf Carbink, you just nerf Rock Throw. But also, like,
but Carbink's not even that strong now anyway.
Right. Yeah. But like some of the other changes I can sort of understand, even if I don't agree with them. Like, for example, Body Slam, I get if you wanted to take Vigoroth and Lickitung down a peg, sure. I also think that 5 damage reduction instead of 10 was the way to go. I think 10 is too extreme. But I also feel like they weren't necessarily thinking about all the changes in conjunction, because I feel like a lot of the changes are counterproductive. Mm-hmm. Like, they buffed Mud Slap, which buffs Gastrodon. But Gastrodon just had Body Slam nerf.
Yeah.
And it's like Gastrodon would be...
It's like Licky too. You buff rollout, but then you nerf Body Slam.
Yeah, Gastrodon would be a little more neutral if Body Slam was better, because that's its coverage move into things that resist ground. But instead, you're making it better, but a little more RPS. And like you said, Licky and Miltank both had rollout buffed, but Body Slam nerfed.
Mm-hmm.
Dunsparce had rollout buffed, but Rock Slide nerfed.
Yeah.
Machamp had Karate Chop buffed, but Rock Slide nerfed.
Yep.
Kanto Marowak had Mud Slap buffed, but Rock Slide nerfed. Like, it's like all these changes are so... You're buffing things, but also nerfing them, and I'm just like, why? Like, it just doesn't seem like they're meshing very well together.
And the main thing is, like, if you look at what's used in this meta, at least based on my experience of a day of sets, a lot of these, like... Dude, Kanto Marowak is not that strong. I don't know who's saying that it's that strong. It's not that strong. I know
Zionic's out there.
I know Zionic tweeted out as like the go and everything. Dude, you know what's strong? Freaking Golurk is strong, man. That Shadow Golurk is really slapping things up. But like Kanto Marowak is so weak to so many things. Like, maybe if they didn't touch Rockside, it'd actually be more viable. But like, you know,
it would still be competing with like Gastrodon and Claude.
I've not seen a single Licky or Miltank do anything useful, right, in this past
I think it's partially because the Body Slam nerf, right?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
And the thing too is, like, again, I understand if people are tired of Lickitung, but if you buff rollout and you bring these other normals into the meta, Licky, Miltank, Dunsparce,
it's not going to be relevant.
Those are going to push Lickitung out a little bit because they're winning that head to head. Right, Lickitung went almost non-existent when Noctowl was very prevalent because it was pushed out by another normal type.
And we already got people clamoring for alligator nerfs, like I said last week. Less than a week later, 4 days ago, right? I said this, and literally like less than a week after, maybe like 2 days after, Evan777 was tweeting about how Froggator needs a nerf, right? And
before the season started,
before the season even started, right? And like I said last episode, Froggator was totally fine in the previous meta. But it was, and the meta before that, right? When it got Shadow Claw for the first time, right? Because it's had Shadow Claw for 2 seasons already.
Yeah.
And it was fine. But you nerf all these things that check to it, all of a sudden you have like this unchecked Gator that's just steamrolling through so many teams, and there's not enough counterplay to it. Like, you have to hope you have something that beats it on your GBL team, right? And in Show 6, you have to hope that you bring it to the games it comes, or maybe you don't bring your counters to it and you just get rolled by 1 for Alligator. I mean, I haven't played any Show 6 tournaments in this meta yet, so I don't know. But
I'm just waiting for people to start clamoring for a Clodsire nerf. I'm gonna find that very
so hang on. How many weeks
when they do, you gotta quote tweet your own tweet and be like I demand my apologies now or something.
No, the man flip flopped. On this podcast, Professor Tristen came out here saying buff Clodster.
I need a buff. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, less people definitely heard that episode than the amount of people that read your original tweet. So
never forget, never forgive.
But again, to go back to this example from this Riot developer, he would like when they overtune something, like, and they update the games every 2 weeks, right? So obviously it's a little bit easier. They'll literally go 2 weeks later and be like, we overtuned this and it's a little stronger. It's way stronger than we imagined it to be. So we're going to tune down. Or they'll even drop a mercy patch if it's too strong and they can't wait to 2 weeks. Right. Mm-hmm. Dude, I would have loved to see a mercy patch when Surf was dropped on the Lantern, right? Like, or something. But like, we gotta wait for 3 weeks to hope that's in the regular patch, right? And Lantern was not really truly nerfed until almost 2 years later. So
but I don't know why it seems like they don't want to remove moves from Pokemon for whatever reason, but like if they would ever reconsider that would help balancing so much.
I wonder if that's like a philosophical difference or like it's actually like a kind of a headache for the developers to do. I mean, I could see that, right? Imagine like every single person has Surf on their Lantern, they have to replace it with something like,
right? That's true too. I don't know if it's philosophical or if it's a logistical thing, but like I mean that would be really nice.
I'm thinking about whenever they like did that sort of accidentally, like the Mankey or the Primate incident,
weather ball water.
Yeah, I think that like in cases like that where it's only been available for a small window of time, it's probably easier to like patch than it would be for like something that has been in the game for years at this point.
Yeah,
I think one tough part about Pokemon Go is also it's hard for them to like meta bouncing is really hard for this game in general because all the moves overlap, right? Like body slam on Gastrodon is the same body slam on Lickitung and Vigoroth, stuff like that. Whereas like for other games, like League, for example, it's just like one character learns one move and that's just like it just adjusts it by that increment. Same thing with Pokemon Unite, right? Pokemon Unite's a great example. There's like a bunch of Pokemon that have Surf, like Cramorant, Greninja, Slowbro, Blastoise, probably something else. 4 different things that have Surf. But every Surf is different on each Pokemon. Like they look different, they do slightly different things, and they could adjust it for that Pokemon. Whereas for Pokemon Go, you can't do that, which is why I'm so critical of these meta balances because like even the smallest change can sometimes have huge cascading effects, right, on the rest of the meta. So that's why like you can't just willy-nilly just throw a bunch of things at the wall and hope it works, right?
Well, even like the Dig nerf, which I think was like, again, I think, nerfing Gligar, I think just nerfing Dig would have been fine. It would take it down a peg, but still make it usable.
Yeah.
But even like the Dig nerf, like you're seeing like in the Wasteland meta, the impacts of that Dig nerf. Because
things like
things like Furret and Nidorina were like pretty relevant. And like Furret still is, mostly because of Sucker Punch buff. But like Nidorina is basically going to fall out.
Yeah,
because it was relying on that dig damage, and with 10 less damage, that's pretty substantial. And like, and again, like, I have a lot of gripes with, like, I see what Niantic was trying to do with the changes, but like, I think they went too far. I think they overkilled a lot of things that didn't need to be overkilled. Like, I would have liked to see some smaller changes to take things down a peg without totally murdering them. But
I'm a devil's advocate. Great job, Niantic. Thumbs up from me.
I think the other problem though is just a lack of moves in the game. Like, because we only have a subset of moves within the game, there's less tools and less moves they can adjust and less things they can give to Pokemon. But like this person was saying, if we have some more electric moves like Shockwave and Electroweb, and maybe some more fighting moves like Body Press and stuff, that allows more flexibility of like, maybe you do nerf counter, but you give some things to strong fighting charge move Body Press to bring some more fighting damage back into the game. But it's like a lot of types, there's only like a couple fast moves and a couple charge moves, and it's like some of them you can't make too strong because something really bulky learns it. like there's just not enough levers to pull and things to change.
What I hear is Tristen wants to make my depleting stash of charge attack TMs even smaller.
That's true. Mine was definitely. I'm hurting a little bit in that category because I wasn't GBLing much in the past few weeks, but that's going to change soon because
new bet.
I'm hitting that veteran ASAP, and then ain't no way me and Steve cosplaying nothing.
Watch me hit legend this season. It's just hard dodge.
I'd be down for that too.
Number 1 Go player in the world, right?
That's right. That's
what
right.
they call me.
Prepping for LEIC, you know. It is in November.
Wait, I have to clarify. If someone never hits veteran, are they last to veteran or is it?
Yeah, that's last to veteran.
Yeah. Because
the other 3 make it.
Okay, let's say if 3 people make it and 1 person hasn't hit it yet, we're not going to wait for that. It's like Mario Kart, right? We're not going to wait for them to finish line. The race just ends because we already know they got last place.
I'm just saying we don't want. I just want avoiding a technicality where someone is like, "Well, I didn't actually hit it, so I'm not the last."
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, good to clarify. I mean.
Yeah, that is something I would pull.
You really got no shame if you're going to try to pull that technicality on.
Steve is like, yes, I definitely would have done that.
Oh yeah, it's worth pointing out. But
yeah. Anyway, so that's hopefully that answered your question on our strike. I know we kind of went on a rant there, but we would just like to see more communication. You know, there were dev diaries like what 3 years ago or something that were promised every 2 months, and that kind of stopped.
Like 1,000 years.
Okay, look, I'm okay if they stopped it. I wish they just wrote a final dev diary saying they're going to stop it. You know, that's like also like this.
We need closure, Niantic. Please.
This reminds me of the other podcast I used to have called Sinister Aglets, where we filmed the final episode, but we never released it. And so people were like, "Where's what's happened?" Right? And we never
waiting Nightwing.
Yeah, because he never uploaded the episode. And this reminds me of like GBLA was the same thing. I asked Speedy this. So I was like, "What happened to GBLA? Wasn't there supposed to be a finals and stuff?" He's like, "Yeah, like, but it just never like there was a film. Like, there was a finals they recorded, but they just never like
oh my gosh,
streamed it.
Why?
Yeah." I don't know because I think by the time it came around, like it just like the viewership wasn't as strong anymore after Championship Series came around and all. I don't know, but it's just kind of like it's just like
all I'm saying is
leaving people hanging. You know,
don't say the word dev diary too many times. You'll trigger Jerry Seawolf.
Oh yeah, he do be tweeting about that stuff. But that's the thing too, Niantic. Like if you just said dev diaries aren't going to be a thing anymore, you don't got people 2-3 years later still talking about how there was dev diaries that were promised and nothing ever happened after. Right? Just say that. This discontinued, you know.
Yeah.
You discontinue Harry Potter Go, like that's fine too, or Wizards United.
Harry Potter Go.
What was it called? But they at least said they discontinued it, right? Just give us a communication, you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were big fans of that game though, which is a little unfortunate, but
yeah, I think that game was like more collaborative. Like it sounds like it was. I think their raid adjacent feature was more similar to what these Dynamax battles are going to be like, and so I think the pandemic really killed it off because it was a lot more collaborative based.
Nerds.
It's just the guy with the Whalmer behind him.
Yeah, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? Going back to our note about closure, at least we know the what is it? Ready, Set, Bow is closing down. Closure there.
Tic Tac Bow is officially sunset. They've deleted the app as of like today or tomorrow.
They made an announcement.
They made an announcement. Only a week's notice, but they did announce.
R.I.P. Steve's Olympic dreams.
Hey, look, I'm still an Olympian at heart, but
it's true.
Might be the end of the road, alas. But on that note, end of the road.
I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. But yeah, thanks all for joining in, and hopefully you know how to Dynamax Pokemon now. And if not, you're not
hit me up for tips.
I mean, we get a little bit closer every day.
A little bit closer. Good luck on your Phalanx raid day. I hope my co-hosts are raiding it because they're gonna need the XLs to power up stuff once I win this veteran bet. I'm just saying. And if I don't win, I'm going to rate some just in case I need to power up stuff. But
yeah.
Anyway, we'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Peace.
Bye.